Well, hello there. Hello and welcome to the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh. We are into May and it is going to be an absolute blast today. We are looking forward to jumping into hyperspace. When I say me, it is Emma Martin and myself, Matt Payne, here in the studio for what is going to be an absolute blast through the galaxy that is Alula.
Well, we are heading to Alula for May the 4th, the women's race today. 37.4 kilometres of racing, 515 metres of climbing ahead of them. They come out of the start pens and straight through into that roller section. It's not a classified climbing segment on the course today, but it really will test the riders coming out of that start pen. Through the sprint, there are 3 sprints in total, 2 main climbs, and the main climb coming at the end of the race is going to decide it, and that polka dot banner 500 metres from the finish line.
And as you can see, we've got some of our riders already representing teams, but even a long way before we get to our finals at the end of the month, the Kitty Hawk racing team of Hamilton, Yaskalainen and Tagilon are going to be the riders with the numbers in force. Well, they've got 3 riders that should help them play out some team tactics here today. Will that Rebel Alive be able to keep it all together, or will they have to act individually today? We will see. Emma, it's a good-sized field here in Category 6. Great to see so many riders on that race field. Based on what we saw last month, I mean, we had a fantastic April, didn't we? What's your thinking in terms of riders' performances and where we're going in terms of today?
Well, I think the key focus today, Matt, is for the riders to stay on target, because this is a really technical course. They've got this flat run out. They come through the roller section. And for me, the key thing here is you've got to stay with the pack through that section. You've got to manage the technicality of the course in those early sections before we go through to the Vessel Rock climb at that 13.9 kilometre marker. Now, in Category 6, there are 34 riders in this race. What you can see there, it's a big race field today. In fact, it is the biggest race field of all of the women's categories today, Category 6. And we've got some great riders in here. So in the mix today, Jessica Hamilton is here as ever, sprint queen, dominating the sprint competition in Category 6. We've got new riders in here as well. So welcome on board to the Sunday Race Club if you are a new rider here in May. And I have to say, there's a lot of riders sitting this one out today. So a lot of these categories are wide open. Now, Liz Smithson is here. She took 2nd last week. Sarah Sook took 5th, Agudelo took 3rd, and Yaskalainen took 4th. They're all on the start sheets today. But I can tell you, Amy Sudibayo isn't. And she's not on the Category 5 start list either today. So she took the win in the April final last week. This, however, is May. And these riders are rolling.
They are indeed, and it's good to see that they are on the move as a group today. I mean, we do see sometimes people rocketing out of the gates. Do you think in part this is because all of our categories know that they're soon going to be into that bumpier section that runs into that first sprint, that sort of sawtooth profile? Once you go over those rollers, because that comes so quickly, I mean, our first sprint is at 6.7k into the race, and we've got all these rollers beforehand. They know that's going to really do some damage. And do you think that's why we're seeing this more packed bunch at the moment?
Yeah, I do, because
it's 35k an hour, in fairness.
It is 35 kilometres an hour, and they've got up. What they've done is they've come out the start pen, they've got up to pace really quickly, and because it's such a large pack, it is rolling really fast. But no one is going hard off the front. The second someone comes to the front, and you can see it on the power profiles here on the right-hand side of the screen, the second someone comes to the front, they are not pushing on. They are managing the pace. They are rotating through the group. There they go. They're into the sawtooth profile now. And it's about positioning as well. You want to keep your powder dry out the start pen, but by the time you get to this 2 kilometre mark, you need to be towards the front of the field. You want to be in the top 10 riders in the pack to attempt to make sure you are where you need to be as we go through. You can see Rona Tanglian there on our screen. She's right at the front of the group. Her positioning is superb, but you can see she's managing that effort, and this really is about managing your effort through here. You want to stay in the group. You want to be in the top half of the bunch. You want to put enough power down to stay with them, but you also want to conserve as much energy as possible, because whilst this is a technical section, this isn't a section that is going to decide the front of the race.
Yeah, and I think Rhoda Tanley is a great example using her craft and her skill. She took a win back in January on the Telma Reeb course, which in some ways is it's so similar to this in that you've got the steep climbs and the hills, and you've got the flatland sections as well. Really interesting that she's already in position right up there near the front. Now let's jump across to our next race. We have 6 race categories as always on the Sunday Race Club, and we're going up to our Category 5 riders. So we start with Category 6 and move up to Category 5, up to 4, then 3, 2, and 1. Category 5, well, the Crank Queens have Musa Al Mansouri and Seba Al Rai. Wheels of Fire represented by Novelin Kekkonen here today. A small race field, petite and bijou in terms of size in Category 5, but I don't think I should let that fool anybody who's setting off in this group, because it's a very competitive small group of riders.
It is 25 riders on the start sheets today in Category 5. You're right, Matt, about it being a small race field. In fact, it is only one shy of Category 1, and that is our smallest race field today. But it may be small, but as you mentioned, it is bijou and well-formed. Anna Freias, who took the win in the April final, has gone up to Category 4. Congratulations to her. It's going to be great to see how she goes today. The riders in Category 5, Gabrielle Marshall took 2nd place last week. Pamela Mongeli took 3rd. Maria Wilhelm took 5th. They are all on the start sheets, but Ella Vink is here. Amy Loxley, Musa Al Mansouri. Novelin Kekkonen climbed well last week. Natalia Idzik, she won the sprint last week in the sprint competition. Sandra Ferron always goes well. Category 5, they were very, very competitive last week in the final. I can just say it wasn't the smallest time frame between the top 2 teams in the team competition, but it was only 32 seconds, with the Black Panthers taking the win from the Velocity Vikings by 32 seconds. And when you think that's the top 3 riders in those teams' times added together, the differential between those 6 riders overall was just that 32 seconds. So phenomenally close racing last week on the Yebel Yace in Category 5. And, well, it's looking really strong today. They're up, they're rolling, but look how wide they are across the road. Nobody wants to go to the front here. Everybody wants to be in the group, and this is the energy conservation element we were talking about before they go into those rollers. And on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that red line, which is the profile of the course, and those bumps are coming.
They are indeed on their way, and you've got to make sure that you're in position, that you're near the front, but you don't want to expend too much energy. Just looking at the pace, a little bit slower in Category 5, and that could just be the volume of riders, the draft dynamics.
Yeah, 31 riders you can see, Voos at the end of that Category 6 pack, just a little bit ahead of them. So with that number of riders in the Category 6 pack, they are just going to roll faster than the riders in the Category 5 group. But let's not discount that, as we've just seen Ella Vink go to the front of the group and try and pick up the pace a little bit. She doesn't like it either. Now, on the right-hand side of your screen, we've got that Category 6 pack, and you can see it is whittling its way down really fast through these rollers. This is a difficult section. Ange Quapp on the front. Amber Johnson is there as well. Angelica Limberger is there too. Bridget Bremner is paying close attention at the front. Liz Smithson in the mix, we talked about her earlier. And this course could well suit, particularly early on, Jessica Hamilton to stay in the group, because these punchy little climbs do suit a sprinter. So you can see this pack really starting to roll, but it is no way now the 34 riders it was coming out the start pen. So on the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can clearly see the damage that has been done to the group.
Really interesting. Now, remember, of course, because this has the dynamics like the you would find out on the road. Aerodynamics plays its part, as does gravity. So if you are rolled down a slope, the gaps will increase because the speed increases, and therefore for the same time, and the distance between the riders increases. As you go into the climb, the distance will decrease because the speed will come down, and because of that, for the same time gap, you will find that there will be a compression. So the riders will stretch over the top of the group as they come down into the dip, as you're seeing at the moment. That's going to compress down, and that's when the group comes back together again. Then you're going to see the kit will go over the top, and the groups will spread this concertina in this compression and expansion. That's where the gaps come in. That's what breaks the riders, and we're seeing now a lot of damage being done. Big groups behind. It's almost two distinct groups now. The one on your screen that are leaders here in category 6, and then the chasers behind. So really interesting to see the damage as it's done on this very early stage of racing here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club qualifier race number 1 in May. Now let's move on to our next category to set off on to the race route here in Arabia, and it is category 4. Now, no teams represented as such, like we saw last month in the finals, where the team prizes were up for grabs. A very diverse mix of riders, and an increase back up closer to that category 6 race field number. Let's get our riders up and away. Let's get the first half of Waves Away complete. So away go category 4, and this is always an interesting race. Category sitting in the middle, isn't it, Emma?
Yes, it is. And it is always a close race as well. But, last week, 8 seconds separated the top 6 riders in category 4. We've got a lot of progression because Pekka Kova, who took second place last week in that final, has progressed to category 3. I would also assume that Sisiolka will progress as well, but she's not entered this week, so she's not here. That leaves category 4 wide open. Melissa Simpkin, Geneva Elos, Anna Fries has come up from category 5. Rebecca Johnson has come down from category 3. There's movement in May going on here. And actually, do you know what? I think I've just seen Sisiolka on the start sheets, and I think I've just noticed she's actually on the screen. So welcome. Our winner from last week is indeed here. Great to have her in the mix. Great to have her in the pack. This group are rolling and rolling strongly, almost just shy of 40 kilometres an hour at the moment, 600 metres out of the start pen, but now they are wide across the road and watching their positions in the group, just like everybody else before them.
Well, so into the section here in the track between the big red block at the side, and you can see the riders in those red jerseys, each category getting its own coloured jersey. Purple for category 6, blue for category 5. We've got category 4 in red, as you can see, category 3, and then in that darker blue, we've got the category 2 in green, category 1 in yellow jerseys. Now, of course, the jerseys don't stay fixed, because if you are a rider who has performed well enough to take away points in the sprints or in the climbs, then you will find that will change into a green skin suit for the sprints if you're leading the sprints competition, and a polka dot skin suit if you are leading in the climbs competition. Now, we're in with Jessica Hamilton. The leaders have gone through this sprint. This is our first sprint of the day, from 6.7 to 6.9k, so 200 meters. Hamilton goes through, and you can just see on your screens, changing from that purple jersey into the green skin suit as the rider with the most points. 5 points for the win in sprint number 1, 4 for second, third place getting 3 points, and so on.
Well, I can tell you that there are now 8 riders only in the leading group in the category 6 race. So 34 came out the start pen. They went into that roller section, and 8 came out in the front group.
Fast selection on a section of course that looks innocuous on the course profile, but actually is really decisive.
Oh, completely and utterly. Melanie Sitko, Ange Quatt, Bridget Bremner, Amber Johnson, Liz Smithson, Angelica Limbaga, and Claire Van der Leydegem.
It's a good name.
It is. But she is in that leading group in Category 6. We're in with Category 5 at the moment, and you can see Gina De Grazia on your screen with Angelina Roja. This is Category 4, and they are about to come on to that same sawtooth profiled edged climbing section. You can see De Grazia up and out the saddle. You can see Roja choosing to stay seated. Interesting watching those different techniques back in those pain caves as we see the avatars on the screen all rolling clearly through that first section together.
And I've been watching the results. Gina De Grazia has been out and racing in real life and clearly watching the live feed as well. Putting in some great results, loads of riding. It was on Hidari Island earlier this week, out on racing and riding on their fantastic facility in Abu Dhabi, hoping to be back and riding on there. We got to visit and ride with a number of riders when we were out there on a little bit of extra time. We threw into the trip just so that we could make sure we try and catch up with people. Hopefully we'll be able to do the same again in November. It's not going to be cold, let's face it. Okay, let's go in with our next group of riders. This is going to be our Category 3 riders. So the Cycling District 3 team, the Freewheeling Spirits team, the Team Golden Light. So Team Golden Light with Golden Light captain in them. Now Valentina De Signa captain in the Freewheeling Spirits. And it's going to be Liliana Silva and Stefania Sanchez for the Cycling District 3 squad. So moving into the second half of our squads. Up until now, it's been 5 minutes between the groups, and it's 5 minutes before these riders went away that we saw Category 4 leave, but it's Category 3 on the way in those dark blue jerseys. Once that's been done, we're going to have 10 minutes now until Category 2 goes, so a little bit more of a gap.
Well, we are indeed, and 30 riders on the start sheets in Category 3, absolutely rolling, and we've got a real mix of riders because we've got new riders, we've got riders coming up, riders going down. It really is a mix here today. Now, Category 3 was so close in the final last week. The yellow team took it from the Wanderers by 14 seconds, from Profita rolling in third, 43 seconds back. So you can see how close the competition is in Category 3, or was last week. It's only going to get closer. Alice Lethbridge joining the Sunday Race Club. Welcome, Alice. Good to have you on board. She fits into Category 3. It's going to be interesting to see how she goes today. Brittany Litton comes back to Category 3. Welcome back to the party, Brittany Litton. Emily Nyquist also comes down to Category 3. Hannah-Pekka Kova has come up from Category 4. And indeed, we have Kimber Niller, who took third last week, and Jenny Daniel, who took fourth in the mix as well. Let's not forget Stephanie Briggs, Lee-Sophie Rammert, Manuela Vasquez, all in this group. And I tell you something, this is going to be, for me, a great battle today.
We do say this about pretty much every race category, I have to say, but it is because we do get such great racing in each of our categories, and it does, of course, vary dependent on the course, dependent on that course profile, and dependent on where our riders are headed. Now, we're in with Emily Nyquist, who now is getting a fair amount of experience here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, for certain.
Yes, we are indeed. As I mentioned, she's come down into this category, and it's going to be interesting to see how she goes. I think we've got I know we've got some really strong riders in here. The challenge is that different courses suit different riders.
Yeah.
And that, for me, is a key picture here. This course, with the climb, the main climb, the Vessel Rock climb, coming at 13.9 kilometres, it is indeed a multi-step to multi-staged climb, which does tend to suit those riders with higher power levels because they can push, recover, push, recover, push, recover. It's going to be interesting to see what the riders do there. I think, to really be honest, the first half of this course is very much about who goes out the back rather than who goes out the front. Kimberly Miller on your screen at the moment, strong rider in this race field. She'll be looking to get to the top of that Vessel Rock climb with the pack. Once they get to the top, they go through the Face Rock sprint, and then they climb further before they actually do the descent down to the Alula Desert. They then go through a number of rollers before, at the 34.6 kilometre marker, they hit the final climb. And let's not forget that final climb, 2.3 kilometres with an average gradient of 4.9%. We do see lone breakaways on this course, and it's going to be interesting with this Category 3 bunch.
Yeah, and Kimberly Miller, interesting. Clearly, that the middle of March, good time for her because it's almost it's just over a year ago that she took her first victory, her only victory so far on the Sunday Race Club. So it'll be interesting to see if she can repeat that. That was on the outer loop course, where it's a very different course
big sprint
profile, and often a big sprint finish. We'll see. Speaking of sprinters, Hannah Pekakova, a phenomenal performance from her last week. I mean, we've seen it week on week on week. She is getting stronger.
Yep.
She's faster. The racecraft is there. And has been getting that timing right.
And she's come up to Category 3 now, which is, I think, going to be a big step up and a big challenge. But one, by the look of her level of concentration there on the screen.
It's not all that long ago she came up
I think she is so ready for this.
Well, just getting a cameo appearance there on the screen. Always great to see that there is some support groups, some support for the riders in there. And Hannah Pekakova, 16 races on the Sunday Race Club so far. I tell you something, that's a big impact she's had in relatively little races.
I agree with you, and it is indeed a big impact. She's really made a mark on the Sunday Race Club, and she's doing really well here because she is indeed right at the front of that Category 3 pack. But what is quite interesting is if you take a look on the top right-hand corner, we've got one or two riders just distanced off the back, and they hit the next punch, and as they punch up now, the push is on Pekakova, trying to stay in the mix here with Sanchez, with Daniel, with Ramut. Pruitt is there as well. This is such a class field, and she's really doing a great job staying in the mix there, staying in the bundle right towards the front as riders start to get dropped. But you can see the difference that roller section has made in the different packs. We said we had 8 riders in Category 6 at the front of the group. Category 5, you can see them there. Ferron is there, Bago, Vink, Marshall, but I would say that's probably still 8, 9, 10 riders in that group. Category 4, however, coming out of that roller section right now, look at the size of that pack.
16 or so, I think, is my rough count at the moment as they came through. We'll get a good indication now as they come down into the sprint. You come out of that roller section straight into the sprint. No rest for the wicked. These riders certainly... I think it's their lot in life. I think they seem to be made to suffer as they go in and through the sprint here because they come from that climbing roller section and into the sprint. Through they go. Who's going to take away the green skin? So it's been rolling around. It's currently with Gina Van Rossum, who we know has got a phenomenal kick on her. So she is in and through into the green skin suit, taking away maximum points. They're in Category 4, and that is a big group. Now, I guessed at around about, estimated, not guessed, 16. How many is it, Emma?
Well, 22.
Wow, even bigger. That is phenomenal. That is a huge group of riders that's come through. That's 2/3 of the race field.
What are the odds on that happening in terms of 30 riders in Category 4 and 22 making it through that sawtooth section together?
Well, we will have to see. Okay, now Gina Van Rossum is on there, making a way into a recovery of hopefully phase, because you can see she really put a massive kick in there to take away those sprint points. Now needs to do some recovery, flush that lactic acid out of the legs. And this, in some ways, it's almost a precursor, isn't it? It's a bit of a prequel series of rollers, and then you sort of get the main bulk, sort of, the quality of the vessel rock climb, and then the two climbs that come after it. And then you drop down, and then you've got the sort of the finale, which is the Alula Desert climb at the end. So this course really, I think, is one of those where resting is key, making sure you stay in the group, don't get blown out of the back because you put too much into the sprints. Judgment is going to be critical here today. So category 4 at the moment, having covered 8 kilometers of our race route, 37.4 kilometers in total, over 500 meters of climbing across the race route here today, which means that we do have a lot of meters still to go, because at the moment these riders have basically gone through that small roller section. They've got the big main bulk of the climbing in the center of this race route, and then that final climb, while the ascent, there 138 meters of ascent.
Can I just say, I'm looking at that group and I'm looking at Kath Tompkinson and Lam Kong on the back of that group. Fabulous positioning from those two riders, enabling them to be doing half a watt per kilo less than anybody else in the group, making the use of that draft.
So really good skills there, race skills, making sure that they're saving their energy, using that draft to their advantage. We're in with Pekka Kova, who should be doing the same here. We just take a look at those numbers as these riders go down. You just into this dip, they're not all on the same gradient here, so it's going to change as they go up on to the climb. The speed is still high enough, 50k an hour, as they transition from the descent into the climb. Momentum being absolutely key. It's being able to use that downhill. I was looking to go out and on a ride on Wednesday, and I used that same tactic of sitting in, rolling down the downhill. It enabled me to go up the climb in front of me much quicker. It's just so good.
Momentum masters.
Yes. Maybe the apprentice will become the master. We will see. Okay, our category 2 riders. We do have some teams represented here. The Racing Rockets, Hayley Simmons, Purebred Daisies, captained by Jenny Eck, and Cycling District 2 by Sylvia Garea. However, the core squad, Gonzalez, Roa, Kalman, and Field, they're definitely the ones to watch here today for me, because they have got 3 very, very strong riders in their squad. But this, like all of our previous squads, packed full of esports cycling talent.
Well, it is indeed. And it's been a little mixed up as well, because it's, again, at the start of May, we've seen some wiggling and some jiggling as we drop back in. Hannah-Pekka Kova is dialing it on the front, of this category 3 race. I know we said, she's made a mark, but she's come up into category 3. And if this is what she does on race 1, when she moves to a new category, what can you say? But Randy Gino went head to head with Hannah-Pekka Kova in the sprint. We've got the 2 riders on our screen at the moment. And I'll tell you something, Pekka Kova has made Gino work for that. Randy Gino takes the sprint, but Hannah-Pekka Kova ran her to the line. Welcome to category 3, Hannah-Pekka Kova. Oh, I'm loving it.
What a battle. You can see Randy Gino. They're being pushed to the limit. The 2 riders on the front there, side by side. I tell you something, this could be a real battle to the end. It's going to be interesting to see how their sprints unfold, whether they're in the same group when they get to the Face Rock Sprint, if they're side-by-side racing, because that is at the top after we've gone over the top of the first climb, and that is going to affect things. Now,
let's
drop
back
with category 2.
There
we go.
Category 2, 28 riders on the start sheet today. You can see them there rolling very steadily, coming out of that start pen, because they are planning to go into that sawtooth section very shortly. It's been a real mix and a real change in category 2. 2 riders from the top 5 that are here today. Samara Shepherd took 4th place last week. Joanna Kalman took 5th. They're in the mix because a lot of riders have gone up into category 1. A number of riders have come down. So Tennille Otto has come down and Tiffany Penner has come down into category 2. Those are going to be 2 powerhouses today. Hannah Hakkinen has come up from category 3 in another well-deserved progression. We saw Jennifer Gothlander come up from category 3 into category 2 not that long ago, and she has been ever dominant, choosing the sprints to really contest as part and parcel of her mix. So it's going to be interesting to see Hakkinen come up and what can she do. Nordin is here, Wagner is here, Kiddle, Van Hove, Paulson, Tilly Field is here. Gonzalez Ruhr is always strong in those sprints. Vittori, Roach, London, Karamani, Thompson, Yaramillo, Denton. This is a stacked race field category 2, and it has just got better.
Just keeps on getting better and better. And I think because we are in to a new month, we have this new fresh kickoff. A number of riders will have been aiming to peak at the end of the month on that big payday that is the finals, where you get the teams racing as for prizes as well as the individual prize list. Remember, the prize list is the same in the women's and the men's races, as it's always been on that Sunday race. The one rider who we know is going to be looking to take away top prize today, Joanna Carmen, back in there. It's like MyWhoosh Kalman, who will
He's
be
having,
racing.
oh,
He's
look at
carbo
that.
loading. We will be looking for marks. Joanna will have done all of her carbo load and made the choice. She's fueled up ready to race earlier on today, because clearly she's the one who actually gets out of bed in the morning, whereas MyWhoosh was clearly taking it a little bit easier today because he's got a little bit later start. I have to say, it's really great to see people racing together. It unites people. There's that mutual support as well. And I tell you something, Joanna Kalman's racing is superb. I absolutely love. I'm not a stats person, as anybody who's watched this will know. I love the passion of the racing. I love how riders ride with their heart and they give it absolutely everything and empty the tank. And Kalman, when she came over that finish line, she emptied the tank, and there was some serious emotion there. Now, let's see how much emotion we're going to get from our Category 1 riders at the top of the elite tree. Our Block International here with 3 riders here today: Kristen Kolczynski, Lisa Hermansen, and Mika Soderstrom. The Supernova, well, they're captain of Francesca Tomasi, representing them today. The breakaways are here. They have 4 riders: Camilla Alberca, Elise Gallegos, Marlene Bierhead, and Nelly Larson. But the biggest team are the Sweat Sensations, keeping 5 riders once again: Velt, Guerra, Fua, Bruni, and Meyer.
Well, can I just say, 4 riders have come up from Category 2. Anna Caramello, Carolina Kolkowitz, Kelsey Jade Van Shaw, and Sophie Giovanni. May the force be with you today.
Let's see who is going to dial it out down here. Who is going to be the person who is going to take off and blast out of Los Isley, and who will be the rider left in the pens or on the early stages. Is anybody going to be dispatched early? At the moment, they're all looking like a good group of riders. Now, Gabriela Guerra is in here. Guerra, another one of our regular riders, really has become a regular on the Sunday Race Club. And, of course, as a medalist at the World Championships, a rider who it almost pins the target on your back once you have got that. Once you've been a medalist at the Worlds this year, that was Fua, it was Guerra, and it was McCarthy. They get a target on their back. Now, I'm looking at this screen and I'm looking at our start sheets, and for me, there is a discrepancy here, because on my start sheet, I see the world champion. I'm not seeing her on our screens at the moment.
I agree with you. I was just about to say exactly the same thing.
Careful.
Kate McCarthy, I know.
Might actually agree for once.
Well, I'm not sure about that. But Kate McCarthy is indeed on the start sheets today that I have in my hand at the moment, but I cannot see that jersey on my screen. So I was going to say exactly the same. Oh, so Kate McCarthy, who took first place last week in that final. Maria Holdcroft, who took second. She is here. 3rd place last week went to Gabby Guerra. 4th place went to Kristen Kolczynski. And 5th to Catherine Fua. Now, this is going to be a really interesting race today, because it is indeed moving on. If McCarthy is not there, people will go, oh, where is she? She's not here.
It really shakes it up, doesn't it?
It does. And it
changes mindsets.
Well, I was about to say, it actually shakes it up mentally rather than physically, because actually your mental approach changes, because you go, oh, the world champion's not here.
Now,
Oh, the
there
world champions.
is one rider out the back of this group.
There is, actually. You are
And
quite
now,
correct.
one thing I am wondering is whether that rider that is right at the bottom of the race field, the last rider out from the pace, is McCarthy. We'll have to see. On your screens, we've got Liz Van Heuling on the left of your screen. Second from the left is Francesca Tomasi, then Gabi Guerra and Catherine Fua. So two on the right are our medalists from the World Championships, Guerra and Fua. Differing styles there. Fua really tapping out a rhythm. Guerra just turning those pedals round. And you can see Tomasi more similar to the Guerra style, but Liz Van Heuling clearly tapping out a rhythm. All very, very good riders, all class riders. But for me, they all have different strengths. There's no two riders here which have got this exactly the same profile in terms of whether they're great on where they're good in the sprints, where they're good on the climbs. They're all good everywhere compared to the average rider. But they all have their own little niches that they're particularly good at.
But isn't that the joy of watching racing unfold? The fact that you've got world-class riders with completely different skill sets all coming together and then executing their race plans in different ways and responding to each other, and it just creates fabulous racing because they're not the same. If you had, 24 riders on the start sheets who were all phenomenal climbers, but no one could actually put out a top-end sprint, it's going to be a bit samey.
There's nothing worse than a slow sprint from a bunch of climbers. I can say that as a non-climber. watching a bunch of climbers trying to sprint it's just no, it's not. It's entertaining for its own reasons. Not all of them are particularly great. One person who we know has got a
she's got a great kick.
Sprint. Great kick is Lisa Hermansen. There, Lisa, one of the riders who not only has that great kick, but for me, it's about that recovery and the repeatability of that kick. Because she kicks, rest, kick, rest, kick, rest. And I'm sure that sounds very familiar to what we were talking about with this course. It's power, it's rest, it's power, it's rest. Now, I'm going to just jump in very quickly because Lisa has got a Movistar jersey on, and a rider we know very, very well, Kat Ferguson, one of the youngsters from Great Britain, and her countrywoman, that is Imogen Wolf, are starting in the Vuelta España. They're both literally just out of juniors, and they're going for the Tour of Spain. Both amazing riders. They're joining a number of riders who have put in some great performances there. That actually is the next big Grand Tour. That kicks off today with a team time trial in Barcelona, 8-kilometer team time trial. The UAE ADQ team are there, including Lizzie Holden. And Lizzie Holden is a rider who I've actually had the pleasure of riding with in Mallorca. Very, very class rider, ridden for the UAE team now in 2023, 24, 25, and a great time trial rider. Really, really good rider. So good luck to the UAE ADQ team in the Vuelta España. Hopefully they're going to come back with some great stage victories, and you never know, maybe the overall we'll have to see what happens. There's some very big names, some new riders there as well. So good luck to the team there from the UAE ADQ. May your sprints be as fast as the sprint of Dorothy Gonzalez-Ruhr.
Well, in which case she'll be doing really well because she is a class sprinter, I can tell you that. She's just picked up the green skin suit, so you'll see that differentiation in the category too. Tiffany Penner in there as well, and I can tell you, I mean, she's just put out a phenomenal sprint. She's taken it from Gothlander, who we said has been quite dominant in the sprint since she came up into category 2, but Gonzalez-Ruhr and Gothlander going head-to-head, and Gonzalez-Ruhr coming out strongest. Now, she's not set the fastest time so far. Randy Gino has that with that head-to-head with Hanna-Pekka Kova. So the sprints going strongly at the moment. I'm just going to do a little bit of a check and see how many of those Category 2 riders have come through from that Sawtooth Edge profile climb.
Well, whilst you're checking, we're just going to keep a look on the right-hand side of our screen. You can see that Claire van Landegome has got a gap at the moment of 4 seconds. Currently at just clear. She's just gone through that climb segment. She's currently on the plateau top, that flat top section of the Vessel Rock climb. And we're just going to go dive in as she gets pulled back here. So taking away the points. Remember that there are points and therefore prizes for the fastest through each of the segment sections, whether that's a climb or a sprint. And of course, then there's the overall prize money up for grabs as well. Claire van der Langen taking away the fastest time on that climb in her category. Will that time hold when the later categories get there? Well, I don't know. Never tell me the odds.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because Jessica Hamilton here is at the back of the Category 6 leading group. Well, she's currently lying in 18th place. Let's go back and say there are 34 riders who took to the start in Category 6. She's about halfway in that field. But Katie Bago, Isabel Alzat, and the rest of the leading group in Category 5 have just gone charging past Marshall, Idskik, Restrepo, Warren, Ferron, all in that group as they really progress strongly on this climb.
And they are not far from the summit. You can see the top right-hand side of the screen, that flatter section on the top. That is the plateaued top. Remember that this climb finishes at 18.4K, so another 400 meters. And there is the chance here to take away not just the fastest time, but also to put down a marker that breaks this race completely up. You can see that the race is fractured. If you look top right-hand side, there is a whole host of gaps there. As we see yet more support there. Not bad if you have a class rider at the side there.
I know, it's
knows
amazing,
they're
isn't
racing
it?
inside out.
Natalia is the class rider who knows her racing, and she's doing some great work here. She just got a little bit of support in the room.
I know, and you can see just how well she's going here. This group, Idzik at the moment, wearing that green sprint jersey here on the climb, in with the leading group as we start to see a push in. Majeska starting to open up the throttles here because they're going to get a sense that that banner is round the corner, which it is quite literally at the moment. You got to take this left-hand turn.
Majeska's gone for it.
She has gone for it. Bago has gone as well here. Can Bago close that gap down at the moment, though? Look at this. Agnieszka Majeska at the moment has opened the throttle. She's put her foot to the floorboard. She's jumped into hyperspace, and she has gone into a different galaxy. She has left them all behind. This is about getting underneath, taking away the polka dot skin suit. She has done that in style.
Well, she has indeed. Bago comes through. Alza, Idzik, Warren. Natalia Idzik, you know, she is riding so strongly at the moment. She really is getting better and better and better. And she is moving through this Category 5 pack very strongly. But the polka dot skin suit is resplendent on Majeska's shoulders.
It is indeed, as we see Category 1 just about to make the way out from the roller coaster section, that first roller coaster section that sees us at the end of some of our race routes at the moment. It's the first part of our race route here today on Qualifier race number 1 in May, the month of May. In the Northern Hemisphere, often seen as the start of the really good weather. In the Southern Hemisphere, it's just started to get colder and wetter. Friends in New Zealand have been telling me that it's been absolutely torrential at times, and for the first time in a long time they've had to take a rain cape out. You don't need a rain cape when you're on esports. When you're on MyWhoosh, you can ride anytime, and as long as you don't get a leak in the ceiling, you're going to be all right. You're not going to get soaked from above as we go into the sprint. Now, going to be very interesting to see how this plays out as they go in and through. This group is all together looking for the sprint to come from Falensky here, but there is the potential to take away a cheeky little win in the sprint competition. Harger's going to lead them through underneath the banner here. Holcroft right on the wheels here, and I think Harger's going to take away the fastest time. But what the riders do need to make sure they do is not get distanced and dropped at that stage. If the whole group accelerates and you don't go with them, you get left in the dust behind. You're never going to chase back on again.
Well, you're not.
This is not pod racing.
It's not. You're quite right. But just taking a look here, and it really was. So Elsa Haag did indeed push on. I'm just looking to see if the rider that we saw off the back of the group was indeed Bridget Falensky at the start, because Falensky's not in the mix either. She also is down on the start sheets today. So I wonder whether Bridget Falensky, the ever-dominant sprinter in Category 1, just hasn't gone through the section yet.
Well, if she has been saving energy by letting the group go on the rollers, it does mean that time of Elsa Haag at the top of your screen will be vulnerable and potentially eclipsed by the time of Pilensky if she's focusing purely on those sprints. Gonzalez Ruhr taking the segment prize in category 2, Randy Gino in category 3, Gina Van Rossum the prize in category 4, Natalia Itzik in category 5, and Jessica Hamilton taking away the sprint prize on that segment in category 6.
And the fastest time going to Randy Gino in category 3.
And what a battle between her and Pekka Kova. We'll have to go back to that, hopefully, when we see them at the sprint after the Face Rock. Sprint is after the Vessel Rock climb, so it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. Now we've gone through the sprint. For our group of riders here, the category 1, they are doing a Mia, a Susonal speed, a 32, 33, 34 kilometers an hour. Now, for most people, that's quick. For category 1, I'm sorry, that's not quick on the flat.
Well, no, they're having a recovery period, and you can see that. Zone 1, Zone 2 work at the moment, and for Van Hooling, and you can see heart rate nice.
That's
and
like having
steady.
a coffee pace.
Well, yeah, she's down to 129, 128, heart rate still dropping, 127. This is proper recovery. You know, when you say to riders in the recovery section, recover, drop your heart rate. This is what we mean. Van Hooling showing us perfectly. Heart rate dropped 5 beats in the time I've been chatting.
And that's often where riders fail in their training, isn't it? When they're out training, they don't do hard. It's not hard. Hard should be hard, really hard. And easy needs to be easy. It shouldn't be hard is harder, then you go sitting at tempo in the middle of it in between. Easy should be, it needs to be easy. Don't ride the easy recovery sessions on tempo. You don't do the recovery, and then your hard sections, you don't take that. Now, Nicole Mayer is a rider who has been riding hard and has shown that she has got the skills to say with these riders and the form as well. And good to see her very focused there. We do see some riders changing their kit on almost daily basis and a weekly basis. Nicole Mayer, same kit every time we go into that pain cave. That consistency for some people really, really key. And I have to say, I'm with them on that to a large degree. Everything's the same. You're limiting the variables.
Yeah, and it's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because practice whilst training. Don't change anything when racing.
Well, other than your pace and speed, interesting to see Kristen Kolczynski. They're just pulling a little bit of a move there, just starting to wind up a little bit, just getting out of the saddle now as they come in to this little riser over the top of this little bridge they go. And interesting to see Tomasi has gone with her, and the group deciding how much they need to invest in the chase here.
Yeah, and I think this is really interesting because if you actually look at the course today in Alula, this is a good course for Kolczynski. We saw her last week on the Yabeljais riding really, really strongly into 4th place. Her climbing legs are ready for the outdoor hill climbing season in the USA, where she was just so dominant last year, taking records on all of the courses she rode and winning an awful lot of outdoor competitions. And it's looking like those legs, and she is ready for that outdoor season. But she is indoors today, and she is showing us that she is right to the fore. She is on target for where she needs to be.
Well, on target for the climbers' skin suit, I think it's going to be Brittany Litton's to take away into the next and final climb, the Alula Desert Climb. That comes in quite a while. We're currently going over the top of the Vessel Rock Climb with Brittany Litton in avatar form on your main screen, in real human form on the left-hand side of your screen there. And you can see the effort that's gone into that climb, but very quickly, Litton showing that she can keep that pace of. She's still tapping a great rhythm out over the top, not just stopping freewheeling, but making sure that she gets some recovery and not giving away the timing, the time and the effort she's put in, that she's invested on that climb. I absolutely love this. There's nothing that, well, there's a few things that frustrate me more, but not many. People wasting that energy, wasting the work that they've done by just sitting up and letting the groups come back.
Well,
why do that?
Well, she dabbled in category 2, but she's back in category 3, and she's obviously taken a look at the course and gone, let's roll today. So Brittany Litton leading the charge, and in category 3. And I can tell you 18 riders that are still in this leading group. So Lytton, Pruitt, Daniels, Ramut, Cassani, Altamarino, Sanchez, Lethbridge, Bergin, Nyquist, Daniel, Bonilla, Briggs, Hyber, McKay, Samuel, Vasquez and Desenia. Randy Gino is in trouble. She's the rider off of the back of this group.
So, and was Pekakova in that leading group there as well? I think she's been distanced as well, which is what I would expect for a rider moving from category 4 up to category 3. That whilst you can put the power down on maybe a sprint, once you go up onto the climb, particularly when the length of vessel,
Desenia's been dropped as well.
Yeah, Desenia is off that group as well. Now, let's move across to category 2 in those green jerseys. At the moment, those are the green jerseys of category 2 rather than one of our sprint competitions, in with Amanda Paulson at the moment. And this is another big group of riders, not yet being separated. They're at 14.4 kilometers, so they're partway into our Vessel Rock climb. The Vessel Rock climb from 13.9 kilometers to the 18.4 kilometer marker. It's not all uphill. There is downhill sections in the climb, which breaks up the rhythm, makes it more difficult, makes it tougher. So it'd be very, very interesting to see how they deal with these changes in pace and the change in rhythm. Remember, it's not just about pure power, it's about how you recover, how you use that power. The smart riders will often win races without expending the most power or having the highest watts per kilo on average through a race, because they've been smart about their riding. And that's what makes racing great. It's about your head as well as your physical abilities. 3 riders who have very, very, very much harnessed the power of the mind. It is Angel Ann Hadlock, Barbara Bulawara, and it's going to be Rebecca Johnson on the bottom of the screen. I was just doing a double check. I thought I recognised Rebecca Johnson. Should do after the amount of times that she's been on the screen here today. And you can see 3 riders who really do pull it out when it becomes a really strong. You need a strong performance.
Yeah, they do. Hadlock, Bulwara and Johnson, all really, really strong. And you can see, look how wide across the road on this climb they are. This is the climb after the Face Rock Sprint. These are the final 2 climbs before they drop onto the descent into the Alula Desert. Now, 19 riders had gone clear over the Vessel Rock climb, which was the categorized segment here in category 4. They've transitioned through the Face Rock Sprint, and now this is the climbing section before they drop off the main descent. The pack is strong. The force is strong with these. Hadlock, De Gracia, Bulwara, Stenman, Johnson, Latrigla is in here as well. Kawazuska is here too. Now, she's a strong rider as well, but you can see the push here, and you can see Rosa Herrera in the mix too. Now, the polka dot skin suit towards the back of the group. This isn't a categorized climb, so they don't need to defend that jersey. They just need to stay in the group. And Hadlock, who we saw on your screens, doing the business here with Johnson and Kawazuska to continue to push and continue to lead this category 4 group through the race. Now, the Face Rock Sprint, it was Lam Kong in category 4 who set the fastest time in that sprint. The Alula Desert Sprint is the next section coming up, but that does not arise until they have dropped off of the climb they are on at the moment. Now, category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen have been racing for 10 minutes longer than category 4. The 25.3 kilometer marker, we've got a number of riders here who are coming up to that descent now. And Van Legenham is the rider in the polka dot skin suit at the front. Amber Johnson is doing the chasing with Katja Jaskalainen as well. Juliet Narvaez 14 seconds back with Limbaga and Bremner a little further back on that. So the leading group now in category 6 was a group of 8. It's now a group of 3 with riders chasing. So Johnson, Jaskalainen and Van Legenham are the riders now leading the category 6 race. They're at the 4 of the race field at the moment, the first race field who came out of the pen today. Now, Let's take a look at this, because this is category 1, and Nicole Meyer has put in a huge dig on the Vessel Rock climb and gone clear by 7 seconds. She's got Holdcroft, Bruni, Kolchinsky, Engstrom, Fua, Bjarhead all doing the chasing at the moment. But that gap, Maria Holdcroft is in the danger. She's desperately trying to come across, but she's pulling the rest of the group with her. So category 1 up and over the Vessel Rock climb. The pace is on, the pace is hot. They're at that 14.2 kilometer marker. The climb is absolutely, wow, they absolutely pushed on there. But what can I say? Maya being joined by Holdcroft, being joined by Guerra, being joined by Fua. The race is now on in category 1. So category 1 continuing to push, continuing to drive here on the Sunday Race Club. Mayer joined, Holdcroft is there, Fura and Guerra coming across, Kolchinsky, Ulberg. They are all being towed across back to Nicole Mayer's wheel. 1 or 2 riders just getting distanced out the back at the moment, and part and parcel of the climb, part and parcel of the chase of Nicole Meyer. Holdcroft goes over the top, and she does not back off of the pace at the moment. They are continuing to push at this 14.8 kilometer marker. They're on the Vessel Rock climb. Mayer pushed on that early part going in. They are now on the flat section. You can see on the top right-hand corner of your screen, this is a multi-stepped climb. They come up the climb, they on the flat plateau, then they start to climb again. The group now reforming after that dig from Mayer. She's still on the front of the group. Holdcroft, Guerra, all back there. Fua, Tomasi, the group are back together. We've got 3 riders distanced at the moment, the 2 that were distanced earlier. So we are slowly, and I say slowly, making this group smaller. So the category 1 race well and truly underway now on the Vessel Rock climb here on the Sunday Race Club. The riders now back into the pack, and steady pace at the moment, just trying to take some recovery before we go again. And again we will go, because the climb is coming. The second part of the climb, they come round the corner, and then the gradient rises again very shortly. No one really wants to get onto the front of that pack, because the fireworks are about to be lit. Well, this is category 2. They are further up the climb on the Vessel Rock. They're coming up to 18 kilometers with 400 meters to go. The polka dot banner will come soon. Gonzalez, Rua, Prado, and Kiddle. You can see them there on your screens. They're all part and parcel of this leading group. Prado, you can see there the look of concentration on the rider's face. The same with Kiddle and Gonzalez, Rua. Now, Kiddle at the front of the group. Tiffany Penner is there. Goslander is there. These riders riding and pushing strongly at the moment. Man, Shandy in the mix. Yara Millo is there as well. Oh, it's a big group of category 2 riders. It was 23 riders together at the base of the climb, and it's looking like they've only lost 1 or 2. They continue to push. Tiffany Penner now pushes on at 7 watts per kilo. She wants that polka dot skin suit. Bridget Kiddle is pushing hard from behind. So is Jenny X, Mara Shepherd, Kate Tridden, all in the mix. But Penner is the rider going for that polka dot skin suit. Who can push from behind? Can they edge Penner out on that time? It's the time up the Vessel Rock, not whether you are the first rider over the line. Well, it's looking like Tiffany Penner is going to pick up that skin suit, and the call comes from Penner. Come on, let's ride. Kiddle, Eck, Penner. That's a class group of 3. Yeah. Eck is there as well. They've got 4 seconds. If they push on the descent, this could be it. Kiddle goes over the top and continues to work, but nobody goes with her. What can Bridget Kiddle do? She is a strong rider.
She certainly is, and I don't think, for me, the problem is that if you try and go clear here, you've got a massive downhill coming. It's steep, it's fast. You can just see on the top right-hand side of your screen. And what's going to happen is you're going to go shooting downwards down here. The group is going to have the pace. It's going to have the speed. Now, Kittle has maximised the speed. Tried to use that advantage that she's got there. She didn't get the assistance. And that means now that group is coming back 4 seconds and a big group difficult. It's easier to break clear when there are 1s and 2s behind. Big group difficult to do. All full marks to Bridget Kittle there for trying to push on. And anybody who was weaker in that group at the back behind, when you were going over the top, because she pushed on, they didn't get an easy ride over the top. So even though it's not got a visible advantage, I think for me, there is a invisible advantage that you can't necessarily see, that the riders at the back of the group will have had a hard time.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Indeed. Great words of wisdom. Yeah. Just go for it. Why not? And I'll tell you something, Majeska's going for it here. Agnes Majeska going for the sprint on the way through here. And as you can see, now a rider coming in underneath the Alula Desert Sprint. This is the third and final sprint. She went through, she temporarily managed to take the green skin suit, but Natalia Idzik has made that hers, which means that Idzik will go away from qualifier race number 1, subject to verification, of course, with that prize of the overall winner in the sprints competition in category 5. Category 6, well, there on the right-hand side of your screen, we're in with Emma Johnson and Claire van der Langdon at the moment.
Jääskeläinen.
Yeah, it's they've not just dropped. I mean, 23 seconds is a substantial gap, and at the moment they're on the sort of the rollers, the 3 rollers on the way through. Now these are not easy. The 6% plus. And that is enough to do some damage as you come up and through. And you can just see, in fact, 7% just as you come underneath the archway here. And that is enough to do some serious damage. So if you go down a big downhill, and the climbs that come after a big downhill are often the ones that can do the damage, because if you haven't pedaled and you then have to activate your legs again, if you've done a long downhill, a 5-minute downhill, and you've not been pushing on the effort, then you have to go back into the effort again. That can really do some damage. Now, leading group in category 1, they should have trained for every eventuality somewhere along the way through their training. It's very difficult to do, but you never know. And as you can see, real big class group on the front here. We're just starting to see 1 or 2 riders just start to lose contact as they come up towards the top of the climb. 300 meters to go, about 250 in fact at this point, as you go into the middle of this bridgeway at the moment. Now leading group go over the top. This is going to be very, very interesting to see how they get on.
Well, can I just say, Camilla Allberg is in this group. And for me, she's one of those riders who goes under the radar in category 1. She's a strong rider and often there or thereabouts. But Guerra Kulczynski, it's Guerra who's attacking at the moment because she wants that polka dot skin suit. Hermansen is there, Van Hooling, Guerra and Fua, 4 riders on the screen at the moment. Guerra looking calm and considered. The others up and out the saddle. Fua sits back down. Van Hooling and Hermansen are going to sit back down. Now the stretch is on the group. Guerra leading them through to Massey, Holdcroft, Fua, Kulczynski, all in that leading group. 2, 4, 6, 7 riders. It looks like they could go clear, but the chase group is chasing hard because it's being led by Merle Bruni. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, she is back on the Sunday Race Club
clearly
after
recovered.
winning that world title in the duathlon last weekend in Germany. Welcome back, Merle Bruni. So many world champions in the mix.
So many champions across lots of different disciplines and racing. Now, over the top of the climb, the fastest time on that climb going to Gabriela Guerra. That means that she will have the polka dot skin suit in category 1. Tiffany Penning, we saw taking that frantic run to the line of those 3 riders in category 2. Then Brittany Litton in category 3. Lam Kong in category 4. Good to see Lam Kong back on the leaderboards once again. Niska Majeska taking away the climb in category 5. And Claire van Langerdam, who we've seen in action at the front of category 6 just recently. So a real who's who of riders in their categories leading the climbs over the top. Great ride at the moment in this group. It has come back together again, but really interesting that as it split, the front group of riders contain Camilla Allberg, in here. Now, Camilla Alberg has moved her way up through the categories. A little bit of history in terms of her racing. Really joined the race Sunday Race Club in Category 2, which is the category we're actually looking at the moment, back in December of 2024. Since then, she's been a consistent rider. She was moved up into Category 1, and a rider who in the Swedish Championship took 4th place, I think, just off the podium in that, if I remember correctly. But in terms of racing in Category 1, she's been there or thereabouts, round about the top 5 to 10, but her best position so far that I can see is a 6th place last week in the finals.
I told you she was riding
7th places before that. Then it was 8th and 9th, 10th and 11th. So that progression is clearly coming from her. So interesting to see how she goes. And in a very select group. Now, it might be a select group. This is select group, but it's still got a lot of volume to it.
Select group, there are 23 riders in this select group. There are only 28 on the start sheets. This is called, well, it is selection, but at 22.8 kilometres, to me, this just shows how well matched Category 2 are. Kiddle, Penner, Gothlander, Gonzalez, Ruhr. Christine Schneider is the rider who's been dropped off the back of this Category 2 pack. Hannah Hakkinen is in, and she's riding strongly, Hakkinen. She's still in at the 22.9 kilometre marker. She's come up from Category 3, just showing why she deserved that progression.
Really a class ride. I love the progression. I love watching our riders as they move. So when we're talking about those young riders in the Vuelta going for their first Grand Tour ride out and round, and whether you've got experienced riders or new riders coming on, it's really great to see. One rider I didn't mention that has joined the UAE ADQ is Ailey Shaw,
the Scottish champion,
the Scottish British champion. If you're confused by the politics of the UK, don't worry. So it's most of the UK. The Scottish and British champion Ailey Shaw, absolutely phenomenal rider. She actually took 4th place in the recent race in Italy. Paola Blasi of the UAE ADQ squad got 1st. Sofia Bettizzoli got 3rd, and Ailey Shaw got 4th. 3 riders in the top 5. That was on the 25th.
I was going to say, the last time I saw Ailey Shaw racing was in the
Sheffield Grand Prix, I think, was it?
Yeah, I was going to say the crit season. I think I was remembering her at Beverley, actually.
Yes, indeed. A class rider, and really interesting. This is a course that would suit her. Lots of sprints, lots of climbs.
But she's not
really
on the
tough
Sunday
race.
Race Maybe one day.
I think we just need to get like the whole of the UAE ADQ squad to come and ride.
Just one Sunday, that would be really fun.
Just everybody just come and ride on a Sunday. Take
that
it in
would
turns.
be such good fun if they did actually rock up, and surely there must be somebody you could speak to about that.
There is. Maybe I'll have a quiet word somewhere with the squad. It'll have absolutely no effect, but I could try. Okay, let's dive back into our riders who are here racing. Leaders in Category 6, bottom right hand side of your screen. Amber Johnson and Claire van der Legdam. At the moment, with that gap, 39 seconds now to Limburger, who has joined Navarez and Jääskeläinen in that group, and Warren Restrepo in there with Warren. They are a minute further back from the chasers. Category 5, bottom left-hand side of your screen, currently at 33k. They're only about 900 meters behind, slowly closing in on the leaders in Category 6. The Category 4 riders, top right-hand side of your screen at 31.5. So not making quite as much inroads into the Category 5 leaders as Category 5 are into Category 4. And at the top left-hand side of your screen are the riders in Category 3, and currently they are at 31 kilometers. Still a big group of riders: Briggs, Daniels, Bergin, Kasami, Litton, Alta Marino, all in there. The closest group is currently this one, the Category 5 to Category 6 chase. Then you can actually see Amy Loxley leading the charge with Gabby Marshall at the moment, and they are currently they only have 5 riders in front, but it is a big gap. It's a minute and a half from the riders leading Category 5 to the front of the race. And the leaders in the race, Amber Johnson and Claire van der Legdam, at the moment just hitting the climb and on to the ascent.
Well, that's it, and it is the final ascent of the day. The Alula Desert Climb, starting at 34.6 kilometres and finishing at 36.9, 2.3 kilometres in length, with an average gradient of 4.9%. It's then 500 metres to the finish line once they go underneath the polka dot banner. It is part and parcel of the climbing competition today. And as you can see, the polka dot skin suit on your right-hand side of your screen in category 6. Van Lenegum is the rider pushing on here. Amber Johnson now getting distance, but has Van Lenegum gone too early? Only time will tell. It's a strong ride from her. Johnson riding steady behind, trying to hold the charge from behind. Judith Narvaez lying in third place in that position. Now, wearing the polka dot skin suit in category 1, it's Gabby Guerra. She is away with Holdcroft. So we've seen the climb over the Vessel Rock climb, which is where Guerra took that skin suit from the rest of the category 1 group. They've dropped down off of that through the Face Rock sprint, and then the second set of climbs before the long descent down to the Alula Desert sprint. Holdcroft and Guerra now away. Ulberg, Mayer, Bruni, Tomasi, Kolczynski, Van Shaw 10 seconds back now as the call comes from Holdcroft and Guerra. We need to work to keep this going because the chase will come from behind.
Yeah, Guerra, they're clearly needing to get some assistance, wanting to work together. And these two, this is a very, very dangerous break because with two riders on the front in Guerra and Holcroft, they have soloed away before. The rest of the group need to make some decisions. They need to make them fast. Are we going to just race for third place? Because at the moment, this is not fast enough to pull them back. This is not enough pace. They're across the road. They're thinking about what they're going to do. Get the brain cells going, get the muscles going, get the legs going, and get after them. What was it you said earlier on? Do or do not. There is no try. You're not wrong, because now is the moment. If you want to take away a top 2 spot, if you want to take advantage of the fact that we don't have Mary-Kate McCarthy down here, potentially nicking the spot, guess what? You might as well go now, because that gap is 13 seconds. I started talking at 9. They're at 13. How much time do you want to give these riders on the front? Because at the moment, you're giving it away.
Well, they are indeed. And the 7 riders in this chase group are still chasing as Guerra and Holdcroft continue to push on.
Interesting moves. Now, the group of riders behind about to come in, will they put their effort in? Are they getting as much recovery as possible before they come onto the climb? There are a number of scenarios where you would just rest before going crazy at that climb. This is going to be really, really key here. Now, Mayer starts to push here. Fua is pushing as well. They are on the chase of Holcroft. This is going to be critical. 24 seconds is the time gap. Remember, the time gap's computed live, so they're based on speed and distance covered. So they do vary depending on the gradient that the riders are riding up and the pace that they're going. Left-hand side of your screen, the last riders away from the pen, the Category 1 riders, leaders, Holcroft and Guerra on the climb that takes them towards the final climb of that Vessel Rock complex. And the leaders on the road at the moment, well, you just saw on your screen Claire van der Leyen at the moment leading this race out. The chase is on behind, and it is being started to be pursued here by the Category 5 riders, but they are at 35.3k to go. The top of the climb segment here today is at 36.9 kilometers, and then it's a further 500 meters to our finish line of today's race, where those positions in the race will be allocated.
Well, Majewska continuing to push on. Marshall charging fast behind. Restrepo still there. So is Alza and Bago. This is a strong group here in Category 5, continuing now on the final climb of the day, working their way now through the top 5 on the road. The Category 4 pack, however, are coming fast behind.
It's a big group. And they've not brought this down. And at 34.8k, they are also onto this climb. They're 200 meters into the climb here, Emma. And this is where the step up is evident, isn't it? From Category 6 to 5 to 4 to 3 to
on the climbing.
1.
It's where the power really comes into play.
Yeah. So here we go. The climb for Category 4 commences. Category 5, pretty much midway up this climb. The climb distance 2.3 kilometers for the segment, a further 500 meters on top of that. So just shy of 3K climbing in total. Right hand side, now onto the main screen, you can see the splits because the right hand side, that is Claire van der Lengenen. Left hand side, that is Amber Johnson and Juliet Naves with Naves and Jaska Leinen. So the riders in third and fourth place, sandwiched in between the two screens, somewhere in that black bit of space in the middle, is currently Amber Johnson. She's 17 seconds behind Van der Lengenen, but is a decent gap in front of Naves and Jaska Leinen. But the blue jerseys of Category 5 chasing hard.
Well, they are indeed chasing hard and pushing on. Van der Lengenen is the rider pushing on here on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, it's Majuska from Category 5 showing us why she's in that polka dot skin suit. Katie Bago digging deep at the moment. So is Marshall Bago, desperate to get back on the wheel. And you know what? I think she's going to make it. Yeah, absolutely pushing. There she is. Bago back on the wheel. Isabel Alzat now coming back onto the wheel, into the mix. She really is working hard. The odds of her getting back on, I think, are closing down quickly. Well, the group now coming together, Majuska, Bago and Alzat, three riders at the head of the Category 5 race. The climbing legs are strong with this one because Bago continues to push Majuska and Alzat there. Marshall just can't quite close the gap down now. And I think these three riders, we're going to see them push on and move away. Oh, I don't know. Restrepo comes up onto the wheel of Marshall. We've now got two riders behind. The question is, can they close this down? They are working so hard to make that three a group of 5.
Such a tough race on the front here in all of our race categories. And at the moment, Claire van der Lengenen at the moment has that 15 seconds gap. She's at 36.5K on the climb, making her way up towards that finish line. Remember, the finish line here today at 37.4 kilometers, which means less than 1 kilometer to go, but it is uphill as she goes up towards the top of the Alula Desert Climb, the final climb. She also knows, of course, that she's going to be trying to add as many points to the overall climber's jersey. She's wearing the climber's jersey at the moment and skin suit on the right-hand side of your screens because she had the fastest time of the Vessel Rock climb, climb number 1 of 2. The second climb, the Alula Desert Climb, this climb segment finishes at that polka dot archway you can see coming on your right-hand screen, and also, in fact, just coming into view on the left-hand side as well. The finish line proper, another 500 meters of uphill pain to go.
Well, the polka dot skin suit in Category 6, Van Lengenen is the rider pushing on. She's going to come underneath the polka dot banner of the Alula Desert Climb first. She is in Category 6. They were the first category out of the start pen today, and it's looking like they may well be the first category over the line as well. At the 36.9 kilometer marker, she's got less than 500 meters to go. Amber Johnson is chasing, but she's going to run out of road. Majuska in Category 5 is coming as well, and she's coming through fast. But Claire van Lengenen from Category 6, it looks to me as though she is going to make it to that finish line first. The camels are celebrating already on the side of the road. But I tell you something, Van Lengenen can't celebrate yet.
She cannot at the moment. She needs to harness a bit of that speed. He needs to be racing them up the way there if she wants to stay clear. Left-hand side of your screen, Majuska's got her in sight. You can see the figure of Van Lengenen on the front of the race, just in front here on the left-hand side of Majuska. The two climbers who have taken the fastest times, the first two riders to get to our finish line. What order is it going to be? Will Van Lengenen hold off to take the overall victory as well as victory in Category 6? The UCI banner comes into sight. This is a 5-second gap with literally 200 meters to go.
Oh, I've got a bad feeling about this. I'm not sure Van Legenham is going to make it to the line. Majewska is going to do it, I think, because I think Category 5 is going to come over the top of Category 6. Can Claire Van Legenham from Category 6 hold this? No, she can't. Majewska in Category 5 comes up and over the top. 2 polka dot skin suits side by side. When do we ever see that? Majewska comes through. Category 5 goes over the top of Van Legenham. Category 6, Majewska is going to take the win in Category 5. She's going to come across the line first today on the Sunday Race Club. May the 4th, it is indeed. And Majewska Category 5 comes over the line, winning Category 5. Van Legenham comes over the line, winning Category 6. Ferron takes the sprint from Bago and Alzat. Marshall is in there as well. Category 5, top 5 through and over the line. Category 6 winner.
A fantastic race on the run into the line, and in fact we can see here we've also got category 3 and category 4 on the way into the line there through those final 500 meters as well. We'll try and round up as many of the individual results as we can. Daniels versus Litton. Litton is behind in the polka dot skin suit. Then Bulawara is directly behind.
Category 3 and 4.
Category 4. So Category 3 leaders on the way in with Daniels and Litton. Category 4 leaders Bulawara, CCL, Hadlock and Latriglia on the way up the climb. At the moment, though, Daniels, she's got to get to Litton, but we've seen this get closed down. We've seen that gap go in the last 200 meters.
Oh, the force is strong with this one as Daniels continues to push towards the line. Litton is chasing and chasing hard, but Gemma Daniels is going to take the win today in Category 3. Brittany Litton is going to come through for second place as Gemma Daniels goes under the line. The chase is on behind in Category 4. The pack are rolling. Hadlock is pushing. Holweiler, Ciciolska and Latrigla all there. But can Angel Hadlock take this today? She's pushing on strongly. Oh, Hadlock takes the win in Category 4 as well. What a race. Daniels from Litton in Category 3. Hadlock from Holweiler in Category 4.
Hadlock, Holweiler, Ciciolka, Johnson, then Latriglia, and then Bulawara, followed by Elos, Salgado, Hyde, Stemmen in Category 4. It's absolutely the riders coming in thick and fast at the moment. Category 3. Daniels in 1, Litton in 2, Pruitt in 3, Lethbridge, great debut for her, comes through in 4th place, Sanchez in 5th, Bonilla in 6th, Bergin in 7th, Rama in 8th, Altamirano in 9th, and Briggs in 10th place. That's Category 3. In Category 5, we've got Aparicio. We've got Majewska taking the win from Aparicio in 2nd. We've got Bago in 3rd, Alze in 4th, Marshall in 5th, Restrepo in 6th, Loxley in 7th, Warren in 8th. And then I think Itzik in 9th. Then Claire van der Landegem taking away the win in Category 6 from Amber Johnson in 2nd. 3rd was Jessica Lina Navies in 4th, Limbargo in 5th, Bremner in 6th, and Holtman in 7th. That's the positions at the moment. They are live. Remember, they're subject to change because, of course, there's all of the verification as well as lots of riders still making their way in to the line.
And all a good showing from Alice Lethbridge. Welcome to the Sunday Race Club. 4th place today.
Indeed, a great debut. As said, interesting to have a look at the numbers, the heart rate, the data that you can get. Don't forget, you can jump onto MyWhoosh.com, hit results in the main menu, and then find the Sunday Race Club. This is the women's race. It's qualifier race number 1 in May. We have got 4 of our race categories decided in terms of the winners. Not everybody in and through the line. Category 2 leaders, well, they are currently going underneath the polka dot banner that signifies the start of the climb.
Can I tell you how many riders are in that group?
Please do.
23. So 23 riders go underneath the polka dot banner in Category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen onto the final climb of the day. On the right-hand side of your screen, it was Holdcroft and Guerra, the 2 riders leading Category 1. 42 seconds they are leading that race by. Chase group of 7 behind them. And those 7 riders have let the 2 riders, Holdcroft and Guerra, go clear today. Back in with Category 2, well, 23 riders, and they are working their way up the race field at the moment. Shepherd is there, Karamani, Manshandi is there, Penna is there, Eck, Paulson, Van Hove. This is a strong race field today.
So, Kittle, the rider we are in within this group, looking good at the moment, nicely tucked in. This climb is going to be critical, just taking the draft. Those numbers in green, moves further up into the breeze here, maybe pushing on just that little bit extra. Van Hove leading the group from Jeremy Vittori right in the mix. Another great climber there, Prado, great climber. We got to remember the polka dot skin suit being held at the moment by Tiffany Penner. This is one climb straight up, no descents, no rest, no breaks. This is not a variable effort climb. Calman, Prado, and Kittle on your screens. I tell you something, Kittle clearly wants this. She's on the front of this group. She's setting the pace, setting the tempo. At the moment, they're responding. Calman and Prado in that group. Eck is there. Vittori, I think, definitely one to watch on his. Sarah London in here. Dega Mashandi, another great climber, real strong rider. This is going to be very, very telling as these riders continue to push this. Actually, one of the slightly steeper sections here at 8.5%. All three riders, watching them in person, sat down, tapping out a rhythm.
They are indeed, and you're right, it is one of the steeper sections of this climb. The average gradient here, 4.9%, but it does kick to nearly 9% in places. This pack just moving as one. One rider just getting distance off the back now, one rider just in trouble, but this pack, this Category 2 race field, we talk about it week in, week out. It is so, so strong. And with the remix today for May the 4th, it is indeed mixing it up and making it harder, but it's making the racing closer. Shepherd, Lenlin, Van Hove, Vittori, Penner, Calman, all towards the front. Kittle continuing to set the pace and being right at the front of the group, as on the right-hand side of your screen, Holdcroft and Guerra side by side going underneath that polka dot banner. Whoa, take a look at this. The polka dot skin suit wearer, Gabby Guerra, putting down intention now for the rest of this climb.
1 minute 12 the gap. 1 minute 12 between our two escapees and the riders racing for 3rd, 4th, 5th places. That gap is not going to come down with the distance that's there. Guerra, though, looking to break clear of Holcroft. This is the move that's gone down. She's clearly got that intent. This is not going to be about who is going to be looking at the top of the climb if Guerra's got anything to do with it. This is all about making sure you use those skills.
Well, in my experience, there's no such thing as luck. And Guerra continues to push on. Holdcroft, well, she is chasing and chasing hard, but it's looking to me like Holdcroft is not going to match that pace of Guerra.
Oh, but she's not totally dropped, though. 2 seconds. That could come back, couldn't it?
But can she stay on target?
We will find out as the right-hand side screen shows us Fua, Bruni, Van Shore, Tomasi knocking chunks out of each other. This is going to be really key for the decisive moves in terms of Category 1. As you can see on your screens, Guerra on the left-hand side of your screen, just starting to break clear of Holcroft. She's escaped that tractor beam. She's managed to get clear. She's broken away. Now she needs to make good that escape, because this is the opportunity. Holcroft 6 seconds now. So that is a gap that could be maintained. Guerra at the moment leading 35.5k covered of the total 37.4k. Less than 2 kilometers to go for Guerra on the front of the race. Right hand side of your screen. Remember, there are prizes for the top 10 riders, and there is a differential in those prizes. So every position these riders can get further up the top 10, the better the prize that they're going to get. And that is key. We're not just talking a few pence, a few dimes. We are talking hundreds of dollars. And that is the real key here. You need to make sure you move up thousands of dollars. as you move up through, if you're out or in the top prize, and you need to do what you can to maximize that mare on the left-hand side of your screen out of the saddle, focused on the group in front. She's broken clear of Hermansen of Bjarhe, Gallegos, Van Heuling. They're all distance. She's got a good gap to those riders behind. Now it's about staying in contact with that group in front. Don't let them go too far. If somebody then struggles, go past them. That's that mini race within the race that all these riders are playing out now. Back in with category 2. We've just gone underneath the polka dot banner of 500 meters to go. Penna, Kiddle, Susik, Eck, Shepherd all in the running at that stage. They're all at the moment behind Kiddle. Kiddle trying to solo off to the front of this race. You can see her on your screen.
There's 18 riders in that group of category 2 riders, and Bridget Kiddle is absolutely determined she's going to get to the finish line first. Katerina Karamani is the rider chasing, but Kiddle is closing down on that UCI banner. She's going to make it to the line first. The intention from Bridget Kiddle today has to be go under that banner first, and Kiddle is going to do it. Karamani is coming with Penna and Shepherd, but Bridget Kiddle is going to take the win today in category 2. Kiddle takes the win. The chase is on behind because the riders are absolutely pushing hard.
Look at the smile, sucking up the oxygen, breathing it in, but a huge smile on her face. That work that she did early on, she absolutely nailed it. She went over the top of the first climb and pushed on hard. It showed intent, but my goodness, she's made that intent good here today. She hasn't just blown it. She's absolutely annihilated that because she went and kicked clear. What a ride, but behind, it was frantic.
It was indeed. Bridget Kiddle takes the win in category 2. Katerina Karamani coming through for second place. Winning the sprint from Tiffany Penna, Samara Shepherd, Jenny Eck. Sylvia Guerrero was in there, Saskia Sisnik was in there, Joanna Cowman, Manshandi, Paulson, Van Hove, Hakkinen, Yaramillo, London, Lennon, Vittori, and Prado.
Now, wow. It's an incredible finish at the end of what has been a very tough race. It's a lot more clear cut than that second to 18th place in category 2. Here in category 1, Gabby Guerra absolutely nailing this. She's taken the opportunity. She's broken clear. She has dropped Maria Holcroft as well, escapee with her. But now Gabby Guerra really has got herself into the rhythm. She's got this now. The top of the race is coming. That finish line is round the corner.
Well, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Gabby Guerra switched from skateboarding to cycling, and she's made herself top of the world. She took silver medal in that World Championships in October. She's going to take the win today here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. She's ridden away from Maria Holdcroft. She has climbed to the top of the table. Under the banner she goes, taking the win on the Sunday Race Club on May the 4th.
Tell you something, as the saying goes, it doesn't get any easier. You just go faster. And that is shown there by the face of Gabby Guerra. Fantastic ride there by Maria Holcroft. Second, again, another top 3, another podium for Holcroft. Absolutely phenomenal rider. She needs to carry this form into those World Championships. That's going to be amazing if we can see her in action with this kind of form at the Worlds.
It's a long time off in November and a lot can happen. But at the moment, Merle Bruni riding away from Catherine Fuhr and Kristen Kolczynski here today on the Sunday Race Club, desperately trying to come through for that third spot in the Category 1 race. Bruni, Fuhr, Kolczynski are the 3 riders looking to do this. And it's looking like Bruni is going to come through after that World Championship duathlon title last weekend. Merle Bruni has found the form on the climb to come through for third place today in the Sunday Race Club. Fuhr and Kolczynski racing hard. It's going to be Catherine Fuhr behind for fourth. Kristen Kolczynski will take 5th place today. Alberg, Tomasi and Van Shaw are the riders battling behind, continuing to push us. Camilla Alberg comes up and through and across the line. She's going to take 6th place today. Tomasi and Van Shaw. Welcome back to Category 1, Kelsey Jade Van Shaw.
Yeah, absolutely flying right up there. Great to see Camilla Alberg. When we talked earlier on in the show about her progression, she did 3 weeks of having an eighth place 3 weeks in a row. Then we alternated seventh and eighth. Then she was nailing seventh places for a couple of weeks. She's now nailed sixth place for a couple of
Tell you,
weeks.
she's getting
The
stronger and stronger.
progression is absolutely superb to see from her, and it's great to see that really making the racing all the way through the categories. It's happening, and we're seeing great racing all the way through. Next rider in category one, running the way in to the line, is going to be Nicole May. Another good ride by her.
Yeah, she put a really big dig in early on in the race today, and she's going to come through underneath the banner. She's going to be rewarded with ninth place today in the category one race.
A good ride by her once again. She has had top fives before in the Sunday Race Club, and Lewis. So clearly, of course, that suits her. She's going to come through inside the top 10 in ninth place. So Gabby Guerra taking away the win just under the hour mark, 58 minutes 55 seconds. Also coming in inside of the hour, Maria Holdcroft. She comes through 13 seconds down. Mel Bruni comes through, leading the charge behind 1 minute 12 seconds down on our race leader. Bruni, Fua, Kolczynski, Arberg, Tomasi, Van Shaw, and May. Your top 9 so far in over the line in category 1. We brought you all the results in all the rest as they were live, but if you didn't keep up with that, if you've not managed to catch all those as we've gone through, don't forget you can jump onto the MyWhoosh.com website, onto results for all of the results. Whilst you're online, make sure that you follow me. It is at Matt Fix the Pain. Please do it. And follow at Emma Martin. Sorry, at biking_Emma. At Sorry, I'm just getting notes passed to me whilst I'm trying to speak at the same time. Trying to do multitasking has not been working very well today. So don't forget, follow Emma. It's at biking_Emma. Do make sure that you give MyWhoosh a follow. It's at MyWhoosh on Instagram and Facebook as well. Whilst you're online, do make sure that you subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Get notified when it all goes live. And remember, on May the 12th, there's a big announcement coming. You need to be on social media for that. Lots of hints have been going out. Will it be what lots of people think it is? We will have to find out. I'm certainly not going to tell you. We will be back with the men's race. We'll be back in about 25 minutes or so time. Do remember to join us for that. And of course, follow the women's ADQ, the UAE ADQ squad in the while to give them your support. That was great. So we're going to take that slight break. We will be back soon. But from Emma and me, stay safe. We'll see you again shortly.
May the force be with you.
So, welcome back to the MyWhoosh Sunday race, club qualifying race number 1 in May. My name's Matt Payne. I'm here with Emma Martin.
Welcome. We meet again, old man.
That's a bit wooed.
Well, it's May
I
the
am
4th.
old. I feel like it. It
It's
is
May
indeed.
the 4th, and we are going to Belgium. The men, 45 kilometres of racing, 492 metres of climbing. They come out of the start pen, 6 kilometres flat through the Ghent City Sprint, then the Kortekeer. And do not be disarmed by the 2.5%. It's 17% on that first rise. They drop down the other side through the Tissenhoven-Melbourne Sprint, then over the Valkenberg, over the Eichenberg Hill, into the Eichenberg climb, drop down the other side, transition to the Quermont, down we go, and then the technical run to the finish line. That final climb, that steep kicker, it is the Pattenberg, the wall. That is 14% on the run in to the finish. It is going to be a good one.
It is a celebration of a fantastic classic season on the road and an amazing record-breaking season by Tadej Pogacar. Will our men be able to match today's performance in Category 6? Well, you never, ever know. Some great teams, the BMC6 squad, Truba and Yoko Bonus, the cycling district team with Sabrino and Baru. So, level beginning, 3 riders for them. Brito, Ramos and Teron. Now we've got Spinergy with Winfield, Batista with Bianchi riding for them, and the ZTBRE cycling team. Vaz and Dotto. They leave the line, the first group of riders of our 6 waves of riders, 6 categories. Category 6, our standard category, moving up through 5, 4, 3, 2, right through to Category 1. Don't forget, of course, the prizes increase as we move up through those categories as well. And from the start already, Tom Harvey really dialing it down, 6 watts per kilo from that start, blasting off from a race start here and really making sure he's not going to get distance out at the back. And in fact, the pressure he's putting on is putting people in trouble at the back. You're not going to win the race here, but you might lose it.
Well, that is true, but take a look at that. Flying around the corner is Harvey. Bianchi, Fielder, Toro, Lloyd, Fabre, Steele, all chasing behind. Milano is there as well as Mamba and Vass. The Category 6 pack now all charging back onto Harvey's wheel. One rider distanced, and, well, I am not surprised.
And it's a big group of riders that have left this race start. We are on qualifier race number 1. Remember, there are 2 qualifying rides needed to get yourself in and through to the finals. There have been a couple of changes recently with the addition of 3 new turbo trainers in many of the race categories that are options like the kicker core. My own personal favorite turbo trainer at the moment. Not that I like any turbo trainer, but you know.
Is it just because that's the one you've got?
Yeah. No. No, I have had the option trying lots, and I think at the moment it's nice and easy to pick up and move. Actually, because it's relatively light, which isn't great when you're trying to sprint on it, but it is relatively
That's
light.
really funny. Okay. Anyway, 42 riders on the start sheet. It has in Category 6 today. Welcome back, Tim Sharp, back for month number 2. Come on.
Glutton for punishment.
Matthew Hooker, ever dominant in the sprints, is on the start sheets. David Winfield took 5th for Spinergy last week. Diego Gomez took 3rd. Those are the 2 riders in here from the top 5 last week. Can I also welcome John Downs, new rider, been taking part in the live coaching on MyWhoosh. Finally, there he is on our screens. John, he's in the mix, he's in the pack, he's stayed with the start. Great job. Tick.
Welcome, John.
Objective number 1 complete. On the start line, out of the pen, in the group. Great job.
So can I just ask a couple of questions then?
You can.
So John Downs, riding from the UK by the look of it, heading into Sunday Race Club for the first time. Been doing some. He has been doing a bit of racing on MyWhoosh. I mean, there's a lot of racing. There's a Masters racing on the Friday, the new Masters racing, Rampage racing. Mm-hmm. But he's been doing live coaching. How's that live coaching is very, very, very popular, and he clearly has been engaged in that.
He has indeed, and he may have a UK flag, but he actually lives in China.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Really, really interesting. And, the conversation in the community now building up on the live coaching, really, really good. John was chatting to us only the other week, telling us he was waiting for his 10 kilogram weight to arrive
And why would that be?
so that he could verify his scales to then do the weigh-in protocol for the Sunday Race Club. Commitment.
So all of our riders all the way through, whether you are in category 1 or category 6, have to go through that verification, a dual recording and a verification required. The full rules set, you can pick that up on the MyWhoosh.com website, go to events, then go down to the main MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club page, rather than the particular one for this week. You go on to events and you'll see the qualifier. It will be qualifier 2 if you're doing it early next week. But if you go a little bit further, you'll see the main page for the Sunday Race Club with all the details, links to the rule set, to what you need to do, what you need to be riding, what steps you need to take to go through that verification process that applies to all of our riders in category 6, at category 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But it's category 5 we're going to go into. Now, this is a real mix of teams. The BMC Get Racing team, captained by McMurtry. We've got the BMC High 5 by Tortoretto, the BMC Rule 5 by Gibson, the BMC 5 by Senik. We've got Cycling District, captained by Silver. Level Avengers, captained by Peterson. We've got Level Up by Bertrand. We've got the MPCC team, dual captains there in Laszlo and Mortek. We've got Rule 5 with Agadello. And if 2 captains weren't enough, 3 upcycled in Drummond, Mukhtari and Mayab. Mohamed Mukhtari, going to be interested to see how he goes today. Category 5, our second category, away from the Pens, heading out onto the 45 kilometres of Belgium, 492 metres of ascent from start to finish. The first 6K are flat, and whereas previous incarnations of this have had nothing in theory happening, in the Ghent City Sprint, it's been outside of that 6K. It's now inside the 6K, and it's in the first 2 kilometres. And category 6 have already been through that sprint.
They have. Riley Milostic taking the top spot with a 13.5 watts per kilo effort.
Category 5 are on their way. They will be there. They've got a little bit of distance to go. Category 5 races, Emma. Always competitive, always interesting to see. Again, shooting out from the pen. We've currently got Laszlo and Mortek, I think, leading the race out here, putting the pressure on early, trying to break this race up. Classic tactics on Belgium. Somebody always goes for that move off the front, trying to do an all-port. But I have to say, with the quality of field in this race category, I think it is kind of doomed to failure.
Well, there we go. The pack now coming back, and Lewis Silva closing it down. Interestingly, 53 riders on the start sheets in category 5. Thomas Dvorak from category 6 coming up. Going to be interesting to see how he goes. Lots of great riders on the start sheets today in category 5. It's going to be interesting to see Dylan Kennett going up from category 5 to category 4. Brian White, last week's winner, not on the start sheets today, but I would make the assumption with the performance from last week, he too will go up to category 4 with Dylan Kennett. Can I just say, Dylan Kennett, I predicted a fast rise through the categories. He joined us in category 6. He's gone up to category 5. He's now gone up to category 4. My prediction now is shifting. I think he's going to make category 2.
Okay.
But let's see where he goes
no
in
pressure,
the future.
Dylan.
But at the moment, the category 5 riders riding strongly. Botero on the front of this pack. They're at 1.5 kilometres. They're going to come round the corner and into that sprint very, very shortly. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. The bunch wide across the road.
And as we have said on multiple occasions, we've said it on more times than there are episodes of Star Wars, that you need to come from the back to the front to execute a perfectly timed and paced sprint. You also need to time it for when the group is picking up pace as well. Go too early, you'll be out front for too long. Go too late, you're going to be not taking advantage of the maximum sprint speed generated by that bunch. So you've got to make the most of that distance, get your timing right. You could be taking away the prize. And remember, of course, as we said on the Women's Show on a few occasions, this is also about staying in the group.
Yes.
If your pace does not alter and you don't follow this group, you will be left behind further than the club president on the club ride this week. Sorry, sir. When somebody put the hammer down, guilty, and dropped the club president.
Yeah, and it is indeed. But it is really important because if you do want to stay with the leading group and you want to stay with the pack, but you don't want to sprint, you do have to lift your pace. You want to be pushing it up into that zone 5, zone 6 area in a controlled manner to stay with the group. Now, Joel Warren off the front in that green skin suit now, picking up the fastest time, 1,089 watts average through that sprint.
Wow.
Fastest time at the moment. Patrick Mortek coming in second. Diego Navarro coming in third. The pack are reforming behind. Pruitt is there, Francis is there, Cridland and Dadson and back. They are going to pull Joel Warren back into the group, but he is currently wearing that green skin suit.
So categories 6 and 5 through that first sprint as we go down into category 4, just under a minute until they leave those pens. The BMC team, the BMC racing team here, Horsley, Cadiz, Robinson, Pino and Giuliano. Dead first, good to see them back on the start line. A few less riders, Thompson, Young and Fitzia. We've got Inner Fight taking to the start line. They've got to harness that inner force. Barchansky, Krawanos, the two riders there. Level of Racing, Luke Allport and Nicholas Hagland are racing for them. The Peak Power Racing squad. Well, we've got Van der Sant, Gillo and Rocker. That's a good squad. And Russi Mäkintuomi riding for Ride Club Finland. They are but 17 riders of the big race field here today. Not quite our biggest race field, but close. Very evenly matched across categories 5 to 2 our race fields. Category 4, the riders in red. It's time to go racing to hit Belgium to complete our classic for the day. Who will come out on top? Who will be grovelling in the gutter?
Well, 53 riders in category 4. And Matt's quite right, actually. 53 riders in category 3.
Don't
53
sound
riders in
surprised.
category 4. 53 riders in category 5. 53 is the number today. Matteo Pino, you don't want to finish 53rd,
53 is the magic number. Oh, no, it's 3 is the magic number, isn't it?
Yeah, but Matteo
anyway.
Pino on the front here.
Sorry.
Dylan Kennett making his mark right at the front of the race. Welcome to category 4, Dylan Kennett.
Have you got enough Dylan Kennett mentions in?
Yeah, I know. But anyway, it's
You only
not
do it
Dylan
to wind
Kennett.
up Michael Vink.
I know I do. It really is good fun.
Mention
Yes,
Dylan Kennett.
Michael
or winding
Vink
up
does
Vink.
message me about Dylan Kennett, and Dylan Kennett does message me about Michael Vink. It is hilarious. They have been long-time friends and cycling frenemies.
So please do feel free to get in touch with @biking_Emma if you want to spill the dirt on your fellow competitors in a nice and very positive, friendly, banterish way. We will have no bullying here on site. Not even me gets bullied by Emma here in the commentary box.
Nobody gets bullied by Emma. I don't do that.
No. Anyway, Karen, moving swiftly almost. I've just got thumped by Emma.
No, he hasn't. Take no notice. Kevin Horsley is in the mix here, coming up to the fore, bringing the pack with him. The pack now all coming back together, but another dig on the front here. Quiros digging deep, wanting to keep the pace high. Interesting tactic.
Well, one of the things is that you want to come into this sprint if you don't have the best kick. If you're not a great sprinter, one of the things that's going to could catch you out is that there's a sudden acceleration. So you see it on the velodrome. It's a really great way of seeing the example. Some riders want to go from 0k an hour to 60k an hour. They've got a massive power, big strength, big power, big kick. Other riders want to go in at speed, a bit like a Tour de France sprinter might be. So coming in at pace, hitting it at 50k an hour and lifting it to 62k an hour. Not much faster, but coming in faster and then holding pace longer. So if you're a rider who doesn't like a kick from a slow speed, and this group come in at 20k an hour, they're moving at 40, thank goodness. If they came in really slow or relatively slow, and then there was a humongous kick, you would be in trouble because you could get spat out of the back very, very easily. And so I think there is a definite move to push hard slightly earlier, pick the pace up so the kick isn't as hard. You look at Kevin Horsley here, he has really lifted the pace here. He's at 7 watts per kilo. He's going to come in to the sprint hard. Pino's gone over the top here.
On the front.
And I tell you something, this is going to really disrupt a sprinter. Pino, we've seen doing this as team tactics before, not down as officially within a team, but that doesn't mean he's not going to be working for his friends and his compatriots here. Big kick from him. He'll initially take the fastest time through there, I think, but it's not going to hold, I can't imagine.
Well, look of surprise on my face at Francis Pino's tactics there, because Pino, we know he's a great sprinter. And do you know what? I think maybe he's just saying to the group, do you know what? I can do this any way I like. Is going off the front even possible? Well, I tell you something, he never asks that question till he's done it.
Indeed, and I think that is he's done the impossible. He's achieved it. That is go from the front and nail it. Francis Pino, chapeau, sir. Take my hat off to you.
Exactly. And he has indeed taken that green skin suit. So Pino sets the fastest time in the sprint. In category 4, Lewis Castro, Nicholas Spratt, Nicholas Hagland and Lucas Hulbrich are the riders behind.
Taking 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points respectively from first to fifth places, which they'll continue on through the Tisselhoven-Molen sprint, the two sprints that are on the way in and through. Now, let's move up another category onto category 3 here. And these riders racing in the dark blue, the Oto Alliance, represented by Henry East. We've got the Cycling District squad, Oliveira, Andrade and Pierre, all from Portugal, of course. We've got Level Golden squad, Rushman Morgan and Golden Boy himself, Eric Rimborg. The WhatsApp squad, Montoya and Clays can't be discounted, but with plenty of force today, with more sand than Tatooine. It's the Sandstorm squad, Sinclair, Fenderich, Guerra, Becker and Fell. 5 riders going to see if they can transfer those skills into taking away the win, use those team tactics today. Category 3, up and away. They are on to the race route proper, including a couple of riders we should mention. MyWhoosh Kalman, who we did see carbo loading earlier on in the women's show. So let's see if he can match the phenomenal performance of Joanna Kalman, who put in a great ride today. Also, another rider who we should mention, Nicholas Fourier.
Oh, yes, joined the coaching team on the live coaching on a Thursday evening, 6 p.m. British summertime, if I remember correctly. You can check that out on mywhoosh.com under events and scroll down to live coaching.
You can also check it out on MyWhoosh.com because there are a lot of the sessions on there, and a big thank you to Jakob and all the team at MyWhoosh Info, looking after a lot of the racing as well now, including that Friday Masters racing. Masters basically age category racing for those people not au fait with the cycling parlance.
Well, au fait with the cycling parlance are the 53 riders in category 3 today. Real mix. Kalman took 5th place last week. Batty took 4th. His climbing prowess really coming to the fore on the Jebel Yace. This is a bit different. We're in Belgium. These are short, sharp, steep climbs. Morgan, Kansara, Mayer, Rodriguez, Tidholm, Haggerty, all in the mix on that right-hand side on the category 3 pack. On the left-hand side, that's category 6, and at 9.6 kilometers into the race, they're nearly at the very top of the Corte Kia. And Daniel Dotto, well, he's riding clear of Simon Llewellyn, Alexander Fielder, David Winfield, David Milano, are all in the mix. I'll tell you something, 10 seconds at the moment separating the top 6. Can this be Dotto's day, or will he get caught on the descent and the transition to the Valkenburg?
I have to say that it's really interesting, this move by Dotto, this big push off the front, going clear of Simon Llewellyn, who's got the group behind it. It's going to ensure that Dotto takes away that polka dot skin suit. But because the Corte Kia comes so early, and you've got a big, long run down through this and over Molen before you hit the Valkenburg, I'm always wary that it's you want to take the fastest time, but you don't necessarily need to open the throttle all the way. You do not need to go full speed. You need to do enough but not too much. Very difficult line to tread. Now, who is going to do enough to take away the first points in the sprint competition in Category 3? Who's going to jump first? Here we go, just starting to see the moves come from the back of the group towards the front. Big sprint off the front here, trying to do a Pinot by attacking on the way in and through. And it looks like it is Nicholas Furrier who has gone through the group and has attacked here. So never let it be said the MyWhoosh coaches don't walk the walk as well as talk the talk, and the coaching sessions as well as in the racing. Furrier goes through first. He takes the green skin suit. Has he done enough? I'll tell you something. They have ripped up the rule book and thrown it out of the window today in terms of technique, because that run from the back to the front, they're using the momentum build in the run into the sprint. And because it's early, they're taking away the top spot by going from the front. I mean, Furrier basically burst from the bunch as they went under the arch.
Well, different
strokes for different folks.
That's the phrase I was thinking about, but I couldn't quite find.
I was just doing a little bit of Jedi mind tricks on you just to read your mind. Don't worry.
Well, that's fine. Okay, so Castlemaire, Oviedo, Rushmore, Fournier, Van Vellegem, Haggerty, Pawnee, Clays, Didutch, Vocek, all in the mix here. Pierre Fell is here as well. Walter Clays goes well in Belgium. JJ Miller, it could be a kind of course for him as well. The big pack of Category 3 riders are rolling, and the pace on the front still pushing on strongly at the moment. They don't want this huge group to stay together even before they get to the Corsica. Now, we know the Corsica will indeed split the group, but Category 3 in the men's race, I think they are one of, if not the closest matched. If we go to the results from the Yabeliers, the men's final in April last week, the team competition, 45 seconds separated Take This from the Gold Grabbers. Take This taking the win. The Gold Grabbers in second, picking up silver. But that 45 seconds separating those groups. Thomas Dvorak, the rider on our screen at the moment in Category 5, he was part and parcel of the Category 4 winning. Well, he wasn't part and parcel of the Category 4 winning team, but he did win Category 4 last week. I'll tell you something, there's a whole load of medals on that wall as well, an inspiration wall, and he's doing a great job here, I tell you, in Category 5, pushing on strongly and staying really in contention at the moment.
One of my favourite composers is Dvorak.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know whether he's related or not. Thomas, if you watch this back, if you are watching live, when you finish racing, let us know if you are in any way, shape, or form remotely related to the famous composer. Well, you never know. Get in touch with @MattFixerPaint on Instagram. Now, we're going to jump back in with Category 5.
Calingard going for the polka dot skin suit at the moment, but there's a push from Felipe Tortoretto from behind, trying to push on, and on the final few meters before the polka dot's banner, trying to contend for that skin suit. It's going to be interesting to see who takes it. So does Calingard take it? Does Tortoretto take it? Where will that skin suit go? It goes onto the shoulders of Joshua Calingard.
Yeah, Calingard having the little bit extra pace there. What I'm very interested in is there's a big split happened here. We've got the first groups in and through the line already in Category 5 coming in and through, and then behind there's a big group, a big bank of riders coming through now. So a split already in that group on the way through. That's going to be really interesting to see where that split lies.
22 riders
okay,
go over.
So half the race field already out of the back.
Indeed.
Ouch, 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 and probably more ouch, to be fair.
Well, this is Category 6, and they're at 12.9 kilometres into the race. The first race field out of the start pen today, and you can see it is a small select group, 3, 6, 7 riders together. They had split over the Corsica. It was one rider clear, then 2 chasers, then 3 riders chasing, all coming together here. We've got 8 riders here. Was there one off the back?
There was one hidden, I think.
No.
Maybe.
Simon Llewellyn.
There you go.
And I tell you something, Milostick is not that far behind, and he's pushing on strongly. Look at the pace from Riley Milostick.
Yeah, 5 watts per kilo trying to get back into the
Look at him trying to get back in contention.
This is one of the key things here. We're at 13.3k. This descent as you come off the Corsica it's a step descent. So you've got steep, as you go around that sort of hairpin bend, you climb a little bit more, then it drops very shortly, flat section, then another step down, then another flat section, then another bigger, longer step down, and then you come off the bottom. And you've got to use these sections where the speed drops in the group to close the gap down on the flat sections. But he's burning matches, he's expending energy.
He is, but he could well do it. The gap to the group ahead now down to 3 seconds. The gap to the group behind growing. So he's in no man's land at the moment, but he is making the most of this. The odds are not in his favour, but he is going to close that down.
It's really impressive. Really, really impressive. Youngster doing a fantastic job. 2 seconds now, that gap behind Bianchi, Silver, Driscoll, and Co. But this is going to be catch made, and they've let the youngster come in. The sprint leader wants to be in here. I'll tell you something, he's going to have to do some fast recovery.
Ooh, look at his heart rate.
Well, he's going to want to be able to contest the Tisdale Modern Sprint, and that, for me, is really critical here. You want to be going out and getting those points in there. There's only a few opportunities today to score points in sprint competition. It is prizes, it's money that's up for grabs, and those prizes are very valuable indeed. Okay, let's move on to our last 2 race categories, kicking off with category 2, our penultimate race category to leave the race start. And this is going to be really interesting. Now we have the climbing maestro himself, Abu Dhabi Team's Ivan Nuki. He's up against Cycling District 2 squad, led by Coimbra. We've got Betty heading out for the Smarty squad. The Hitmen are here as well with Ross Foster. But for me, this is going to be really interesting. UAE Falcons, Al Tanaji and Hamden. And then the biggest squad of the day, the UAE Clan Team, Mr. X100, Pablo Popovic and SS. And we know how aggressive they are on races. This is, for me, of course, for SS in terms of team riders. But that's only 9 riders out of a huge
55. It's the biggest race field today. Category 2 as they're sitting in the start pen, waiting for the final seconds to tick down. We're in with Jakob Bjorklund. He's going to be part and parcel of that mix. Now, Ross Fawcett took 3rd place last week. X100 took 5th. And Moritz Ritter took 2nd. Stuart Miller, who took the win, well, he has progressed up to category 1, and we're going to see him very shortly when they leave the start pen. But at the moment, it's Gombert, Van Heek, Kayan, all in the mix. Kisnowski is here, Mundell is here, Bjarhead, Krasnich, all in the mix here as the pack come out of the pen up to 42 kilometres an hour, very, very quickly, the first 300 metres. The pack is rolling and rolling strongly here today. Christoph Thiem is right up there. Maciek Skierski is there as well. X100 is in the mix. Alan Jung is there as well as Kisnowski too. Holweiler is in here as well as Thiem. El Alami there too. Nuki, Utkin, Cantazaro. It's a big long list, and it's Peter Milostic right at the front.
So Milostic, not Riley. Riley's the apprentice. Peter is the master at the moment, although I'm sure it won't be long until they are eclipsed a bit, like we've seen Lyndon Milostic eclipse the performances of Peter and now be a true force up at the very top of the field. Category 2 being led by Kenil Davis. Phil Graves on the attack here, and if ever there was a sprint likely to be messed up by people racing from the gun for the overall, I suspect category 2 is one of them. Nikolai Damsgaard now on the move as well. They're not getting a chance to settle. They're not getting a chance to pause before they kick on once again.
Well, they're not, but the push is on and the pace is fast. 1.2 kilometres, and Damsgaard putting in a massive attack here. This is early work, and he's seen the other riders come out of the pen, and he's seen the course today. And you know what? Whenever we look at courses, we make assumptions and we look at profiles and we go, oh, well, we're going to see it. We're going to get to the Cortakia as a group and we're going to go in and we're going to ride hard. But no, Nikolai Damsgaard has said, no, not today. The force is strong with this one, Matt, and he is going hard off the front.
He is indeed. And I'll tell you something. You said, everybody, you look at the course, you make an assumption, you make might not be an assumption. It might be have an idea of what plan A or B or C or D is going to be. But sometimes you just come up against riders who are going to change that and are going to be different. I mean, you look at Damsgaard here. He's gone clear. He's right off the front here.
Yeah.
Now he's got a couple of things here. He's got sliding room if this group picks up pace as they come through the sprint to actually sit at a reasonable pace and not go too hard. But you've also got the fact that, he's not going to have to do this hard early acceleration quite as fierce as somebody who's maybe contesting the sprint or reacting to this. It also means that if there are riders coming through here who are contesting the sprint, join Damsgaard, that they could then form a small group and break away. A bit like sending a rider up the road. In a tour or in a race, you send a rider, a teammate up the road, you pick them up later, and by having Damsgaard up there, Damsgaard is in this group on the front of the race. You've got Skierski, Simmons, Damsgaard, Kalman. They've got a 3-second gap to Bjorklund behind, and they could make this count.
Well, they could do, and Damsgaard goes back onto the front of the group and pushes at 7 watts per kilo. He's adamant he's going to push this group along and that they're going to start to lose riders out the back of that Category 2 pack through the first sprint at 2.3 kilometres. And Damsgaard is absolutely nailing it again. Paul Skierski, Olivier Simmons, Alaska Kalman, David Nitko, the riders, but no one is going with them. Damsgaard has gone again.
We'll have to see if he can maintain that when we get back to them shortly. But let's get our Category 1 riders at the top of the tree, our elite riders underway. Alpha Joel represented here today by Daniel Turek and Ollie Jones. We have the Wenger boys represented by Annie Jacobs. The HCNS VE squad, that's Marshall Wu. Cycling District represented by Michael Machado. There are 4 riders, though, for 2 teams. The Boss Moves Only squad and the Farm Watt squad. The Farm Watt squad with Andreasen, Pucker, Harris and Plantero. And the Boss Moves Only squad with Osborne, Knudsen, Vink and Safrazadi.
Well, Osborne from the Boss Moves Only took the win last week. Pucker from the Farm Watt squad has flown from the USA to Spain. Both of those were out doing a 200k gravel race yesterday. Let's see what their legs do today.
So here we go, qualifier race number 1, final wave of riders about to leave the pen. Here we go. This is going to be the first chance we see in May of who is going to be on form, who has had a spring in their step right the way through the start of the year, who is going to be able to take victory. This is not a monster climb. At the end, this is repeated efforts, repeated kicks. And of course, if riders have been out racing, they may be on a high after taking a win, if they've been doing a different discipline, or if they've been racing on the Masters racing. But they may also be on a downer if they haven't had the best of luck.
Oh, well, I think these riders are professional enough to shake it all off and get back on the saddle, so to speak. But Al Hamadi in the mix. Actually, good to see Yusuf Mirza Al Hamadi in here. He's in the mix here. Safrazadi is here. Jones is here. Kroll is here. Jacobs. Milastic is here. Vujasin is here. Christoph Flubus is here as well. Another rider mixing gravel and esports together.
Always good to see our riders. It shows you just how strong they are when they can take the skills that they've got and take some of these advantages that they build on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club and then use them to their advantage. They add them to that haul of tools they can deploy to their advantage out and racing, maybe a different discipline. And of course, the same is true the other way in and round. So Category 1 up and racing, out and away. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays. Mod in here. Mika Kaminsky going to see if he can hold up the honours. We saw him actually earlier on the show, again supporting rider in the women's race. And again, he's got his work cut out to emulate that performance, I have to say, here today. Great ride there. By Natalia. It's a fantastic, the women's race was an amazing race. If you haven't watched it and you've just joined us for the men's race, do please jump back in and watch it. In fact, here is the man who's going to be under some serious pressure today, Mikhail Kaminsky here today. Now going to have to see if he can uphold the household honour because at the moment the bar has been set pretty high indeed. A class athlete, class rider in his own right as well. And very interesting to see how he gets on. Do jump in and watch the women's racing. It was absolutely fantastic today. They're in Arabia. They were on a course in some ways quite similar to this, with multiple climbs and multiple sections. And I have to say, get yourself subscribed. On the 12th of May, there is a big, 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 big announcement coming. But you need to be subscribed to social media at MyWhoosh on Instagram, on Facebook. Tick the subscribe button to the YouTube channel and get notified every time we go live, and for that big announcement as well. And it won't be who's sprinting for the win here in category 1 in our first sprint of the day to take away those points. Although it may well be Vidal Mayer who's going to take away the segment prize. Good moves,
What
Vidal.
a sprint from Vidal Mayer, I tell you. But a number of riders went up against him. Kroll went up against him, so did Jacobs. But Vidal Mayer, look at that 15.39 watts per kilo average, 1,124 watts average, taking the top spot in category 1, 18.2 seconds. 18.2 seconds as well, but not quite as quick. Olivier Simmons in category 2. Great sprinting across the board. But take a look at that. Francis Pinault, he raced well because he used the draft. Fournier category 3, Warren category 5, Millerstick category 6. But Francis Pinault, what a sprint.
I'm looking at that and going, how on earth did he do that? But I know you said he used up. They went in with more riders and they came in at a higher pace.
They did.
So it's all very well putting in your hardest, biggest, most powerful performance, but if you're coming from a slower pace with a smaller group with less draft, you're up against it.
And there's multiple technical elements to the sprinting, not just the amount of power you can put out. Well, do you know what? We saw Nikolai Damsgaard go off the front of the category 2 pack really early, before the sprint. We then made an assumption that he was going to have riders join him after the sprint and he was going to go away with a small group. But no, he then pushed on and nobody else went with him. He's gone into the quarter gear with a gap to the group. They're on the right-hand side of your screen. It's currently at 19 seconds and Damsgaard is climbing strongly. This could be the move of the day.
And that 19 seconds, I think, really doesn't do him credit, because at that point, that 19 seconds was when the group were coming in at speed and carrying that speed onto the base of the climb. Now that the gradients are almost identical and very much the pace has come off the second group about now. I mean, that gap now has changed. It went up to about 24, so it's back to 18. So we'll see what that is at the top of the climb, and can he maintain this? He doesn't have as much draft advantage, but at 27 kilometers an hour, you don't get as much advantage from the draft. So particularly at the moment, like Betty, you're somewhere near the front and your numbers are hovering in between the green and the black. Green numbers at the top center of your screen mean that you are in the draft. The rider is in the draft, that they're taking the shelter on the way through. Good to see Giselle back here once again, sir. And one of our regular riders up at the front of the race in the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, a real regular rider. And I'll tell you something, another rider you would never bet against finishing in a top 5 position.
Well, this pack are climbing strongly. They are really motoring. And this is the steepest section of this climb. You know, they've just gone through 17%. It's just now coming off as they go round the bend towards what is the first top of the quarter gear. They then descend into the dell and then they climb again before they get to the polka dot banner.
Just going to dive very quickly back into Josiah Betty, because I'm going to back up what I said about never betting against him being on a podium or a top 5 position. Josiah Betty, over a quarter of his near 80 rides have resulted in a top 5 position, including wins. He's a rider who can race well, and this, of course, it suits him, as it does Matthias Van Heet, another rider who Van Heet. I mean, I know he's got the Belgian jersey on there, and
he's
totally
racing in Belgium on MyWhoosh in a Belgium jersey.
It's taking the inspiration there, but I have to say he is a rider, again, you just know he's going to be up there. Very similar number of rides, just only a few less top 5 results than Betty. Very similar, with 3 wins though, and he does tend to take those here in Belgium. Now, another strong rider that we have here, Tatu Koistonen. He's another racer who we know has got a good chance. I mean, first, he's taking 4 wins in the Sunday Race Club, and very similar numbers again.
Yeah.
Like 3 almost identical riders and an identical number of podiums.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? Because, well, the strength and depth, we've talked about the strength and depth in Category 2 quite regularly, and it is there and it is strong. The riders, when you look at the list and you start going through the riders, you start thinking, do you know what? Any of these riders could take the win. And we quite often see packs coming into the finish line and sprints in Category 2. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens today. But I can tell you what is happening right now. Nikolai Damsgaard is still out front. So they're on the transition before the Dell. This is the flat section. You can see the pack coming. If Nikolai could just turn his head and look over his shoulder, he would see.
Well, you can.
He would
do that.
see
Hit the buttons.
pack. Well, you can indeed. But take a look at what's going on here, because this is Category 1. And Milostick, Turek and Plantero, that's an interesting group, have gone out clear. And there we go, Daniel Turek on our screen. Part and parcel of this 3-man breakaway here. They've just gone underneath the polka dot banner, signifying the start of the Quarter-Kier climb. They're 6 seconds up the road. Trojanowski is a rider in the mix. Always goes well in Belgium.
Yes. He is. But I think when you're up against this level of competition, I think there's some Daniel Turek. He's due another big win. He's due another real big result here today. We know Mikel Plantero of France can climb well. Milostick is going to give it everything, and a phenomenal sprinter. But he's also a light rider, so the climbs will suit him.
Yeah.
Steeper the lighter you are, the steeper the gradients suit you. My regular training partner, riding partner out here, he is I hate to say this, probably about 6 kilos lighter than me. So he's about 10% body weight, honest Gov. But he can go up the climb so well because he's that much lighter. He's a class rider. But it's not the be-all and end-all, is it?
No, it's not the be-all and end-all, because absolute watts are also crucial. It's not just about watts per kilo, and we really need to move away from that. There's lots more involved than watts per kilo.
Well, I do also always beat him whenever we are on any other section than the steepest slopes, which means I can make it count after the steep bits, which is always handy.
SS coming to the fore now in this Category 2 pack. Stepanak is there as well as Walter Holweiler. Damsgaard has now been brought back into the fold.
He had 10 seconds going over the top of the first part of this climb. He had managed to hold that, but this second section here, SS on the move, mentioned him earlier on for a reason, because this is the sort of course that will suit him down to the ground. He's going to go sprinting underneath, and I think between him and Stepanek, it may well be about who was positioned where as to go through it. In fact, it's Simon Walter. Now, he was only the third rider over the line, but he must have been right near the back of the group. So he's done that by going from the back of the group to third place rather than being on the front going in. Good ride by him, 6:37 on that climb.
Yeah, really, really good. Really, really impressive doing the business there. So Simon Walter picking up the polka dot skin suit in Category 2. Stepanak coming through with the second fastest time. Then SS, who we saw go under the polka dot banner first. So it's not about who goes over first. It's all about the time. And there is Simon Walter, one happy rider.
Well done, buddy. Congratulations. Great ride. Don't focus on us too much because you might go out the back of the group. You do need to be diving down on there. And the German rider there with that German jersey in the background, doing a great job here today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Riders from all over the globe coming to a race on the racing that is here each and every Sunday of the year. We were having a conversation with some colleagues of us, and basically it's the you do this every week? Yes. Every Sunday? Yes. Christmas? Yes. Easter? Yes. Ramadan? Yes. Every single Sunday. The Sunday Race Club is here, and it's an absolute pleasure and an honour putting words to the action. My name's Mark Payne. I'm here with Emma Martin. I'm now into my 4th year, in fact, of putting words to the action to this, which is a substantial amount, and it never, ever fails
Ollie Jones
to keep me entertained. Ollie Jones has been riding this longer than I've been talking about it, and that says a lot because I do a lot of talking, but Ollie Jones does even more riding, and I tell you something, he's a rider Ollie Jones, for me, this course, if he wants to win on this course, he has to go clear before the Claremont. He needs to go on in. He needs to go clear.
Before the Claremont?
Yeah.
Well,
Because the Claremont is the penultimate climb. You've got the Paterberg climb, which, albeit not a segment, is enough to do some damage. But I think he needs to go clear early and build a little bit of a gap.
now that's interesting, because what normally happens in Category 1 is the group gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and then the final attack comes on the Paterberg, which is, well, not far before the finish.
Indeed. Now, one rider that we haven't seen on the Sunday Race Club for a little while is Yusuf Mirza Al Hamadi. Yusuf joined us on stage at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi. The rider who races for the UAE Emirates race team. And he was absolute gent, a real pleasure to have on the stage and to chat with. Don't forget, you can watch back all of the World Championship show on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. And Yusuf at the moment looking to close down the gap to Marcin Trzajanski. They've got Mindakowicz not all that far in front, and Machado and Lewis, so plenty of riders to aim at. And that's one of the great things on Sunday Race Club, isn't it? If you're coming back into it, you might not be right up at the sharp end with the leaders, but you can still have riders to race and to chase. It's all going to improve your performance. Now, as we come up towards the summit, will this group break? This is still a relatively big group. It is only the first climb, albeit the second part of climb number 1 as we head towards the top of the Kortekeer. And we're in with Stefan van Elst, a man who's been on the podium already this week.
Around 17 riders in that leading group in Category 1, continuing to climb onto the final stages of the Kortekeer climb here in Belgium on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Pucker coming to the fore with Van Elst and Osborne. Harris, I think Harris could go well today. Marshall Wu in the mix as well. Michael Vink is there. Vink will probably tell you, if you asked him, that this is not the type of course he prefers.
Did you ask him in the interview that you did with him on the Virtual Velo podcast if this
he
is his type of course?
He did infer that he would like a really long climb.
Okay.
There are no really long climbs on this course.
I have to say, I don't think there's any particular climb or race route that doesn't suit him. He's such a phenomenal rider. Do have a listen back to that on the Virtual Velo podcast with Michael Vink. Very, very interesting chat from him. Now, we said that Michael Kaminsky was under pressure to perform, and perform he has. He's got the fastest time of the climb. Well done, Michael. He comes through with a 6:20, won the fastest time of the day up the climb of the Kortekeer. He scores maximum points in the climbing competition behind him. Michael Knudsen, who has also been flying, followed by Harris, Van Elst and Kroll. They're the point scorers in Category 1. You can see the leaders in the points competition, the riders with the fastest time of the Kortekeer in each of the rest of the categories. So Walter in Category 2, Sinclair in Category 3, Cadiz in Category 4, Callingard in Category 5, and Dotto in Category 6. They are the riders who scored the maximum number of points, which is 5 on climb number 1. They have to back that up on the rest of our climbs in and through the course here in Belgium. A total of 45 kilometers long and 492 meters of climbing.
Well, at my count, I count 18 riders in that leading group, but the attack is on.
Indeed it is. The first shot being fired by the world champion, Jason Osborne. And he really is looking to light this up early. They've gone over the top. They maybe weren't expecting an attack on the downhill. Jones is going after him here at 12.5 watts per kilo on the descent. The express train is leaving the station.
Well, Ollie Jones using the force to close the gap as they continue to move. Osborne, Jones, Pucker now coming across with Andreasen.
You know, there's going to be people who say that is a very, very foolish move off the front. But, you know, it's one of those moves that could well stick.
But who's more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him?
Tricky one, because I would be of the camp that says this is a foolhardy move at this stage, a difficult one to make stick. But look at it's a world champion that's down the road. How do you not chase? How do you keep calm and cool and collected? And look at the quality of athletes we've got. We've got Vink, Safasadi, Van Elst and Kaminsky on your screens. And they are all absolute class. And they know if if you go too early here, you're going to be in deep, 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 deep trouble later.
You've got a plan. Stay on target.
Okay.
Deliver. Do the business.
And that's the end of the race, isn't it? It's not just, these are riders who want the race win. They are born winners. You don't get to Category 1 without being a winner.
Well, I tell you something, at the moment, the riders down the road are absolutely round the corner and out of sight as they've gone into the Tissenhoven Marvel Sprint. Kaminski wants to defend that skin suit. He's gone right to the back of the group, and Olivier Simmons is even further behind him. So Simmons in the green skin suit, Kaminski in the polka dot, both going for the sprint at the moment. Simmons has come over at the top of Kaminski. Olivier Simmons, Category 2. Do you know what they've been caught?
They have. And
interesting moves.
Olivier Simmons is doing a sprint session at the back of the group. He didn't go with the leaders over the top, and he's going out to take that. And it was really interesting. Mikhail Kaminski saw the green skin suit sprint down the road. He thought, oh, I'm going to go with them, and then went, yeah, maybe not. I'm not going to do that because I don't. Because this is not my race category. Mikhail Kaminski takes the fastest time through that sprint so far in Category 1. Bearing in mind that it was Vidal Mayer who took the sprint in the first sprint.
Yes, and he's off the back of the leading group.
So he may yet come through and beat that time because that's a 20.372. I think if Kaminski wanted to keep that, he needed to match the time of Olivier Simmons, who took the win. But Pino, the fastest time of all.
Well, Olivier Simmons setting a strong time in Category 2. Francis Pino taking Category 4. Marius Fossid taking Category 5. Nicolas Fournier doing the business and taking Category 3. Roman Mizaros taking Category 6 through the Tissenhoven Marvel Sprint. Really, really interesting racing and riding.
So we're going to look a little bit further up the course on the left-hand side of your screen. We're going right the way up through to the very front of the race, which is at 29 kilometres. Here we go, up onto our big screen with Dotto, Winfield, Sobrino, Milano, Llewellyn, Midlostic. Looks like Hooter in the mix as well. And they are all chasing Dotto at the moment as they go over the top of what must be by its profile. I think the Eichenberg. I'm just going to do a double check.
Yes, indeed. The Eichenberg climb is what they have just gone up and over, the actual second climbing segment of the race. So they've gone through up and over the Valkenberg, up and over the Eichenberg hill, and then this was the Eichenberg climb, the second of 3 segments in climbing in Belgium today.
And Daniel Dotto taking the fastest time up the Eichenberg climb and doing the business there. That means that he has added that to taking the fastest time over the Quarter Kia. So 10 points now in the bank for Dotto. In terms of that climbs competition, the first climb, the Quarter Kia in Category 6 went to Dotto from Winfield, Llewellyn, Fiedler and Sobrino. The second climb was Dotto, Winfield, Milano, Sobrino again. So Dotto at the moment in the front, but he's not. If he's got to do a good result on the penultimate climb, that's the Quermont climb, and that's actually the next climb, but there's a big gap in between.
Well, there is, and I'll tell you something. Jani Lempinen in Category 5 is closing down very, very quickly and working his way through the Category 6 race field, because that's the polka dot banner of the top of the Eichenberg climb on his screen. The pack of Category 1 are still rolling, and you know what? Scott Cantazzaro is attacking in Category 2.
Go on, Scott. I like it when people go on the move, go on the attack. So, Scott Cantazzaro in the green jersey of Category 2. But we're going to jump back in with our Category 5 riders because they're just coming up over the top of the climb. And it looks to me like the position's gone. Now, Leipinen actually had the fastest climb time, followed by Kendall, Kalangad, Pualaka, and then Gavira. Leipinen scored 5 points. Of note, though, Kalangad scored 3. He added that, taking the 5 points on the first time, and that means in Category 5, Callingard at the moment leading that competition, the climbs competition, with one more climb to go, as we saw with the Category 6. Dotto and Callingard, your two leaders with one more climb to go in their
talking
categories.
about two leaders, Osborne and Jones are now 22 seconds clear. That could be race over for everybody else.
I did say if Ollie Jones wants to take the win, he's got to go clear before we get to the Quermont. He's done that, albeit 20k before.
Well, yeah.
It's a long way. Now, look at this. Interesting. Vic has decided to put a little bit of a squeeze on here. I don't think he thinks this is over yet. 20 seconds is doable. I think 20 seconds is closable. But will Vink close down Osborne, his teammate? I don't think he'll want to do that. He will want to go clear and bridge across that gap. He won't want to just bring everybody else up.
Well, Sunday Race Club is a little bit like episodes, isn't it? Episode after episode after episode. And they just keep coming. Now, Vink pushing from the pack here in Category 1. Andreasen, Milostic, Wu in there as well. Back in with Betty because, well, Betty has decided Cantasaro is not allowed to go out on his own. So Scott Cantasaro has gone out on the front of Category 2, putting in a big attack. They're at the 19.2 kilometre marker. They are coming up towards... Well, they're coming up towards what must be, I was going to say, the top of the Valkenberg. The flat plateau at the top is where they're coming. So Betty Cantasaro, SS, now at the front of the race. But David Darn is there as well. And look at that pack behind them.
I have to say, if I was in Category 2, I'd be looking at this and going, we need to get this group broken down. And it's something I know I've said a few times before. The group's just so big. You need to break it down. It's so competitive. There's lots of people in there. The game of odds is terrible here. You're just not on there, and you need to push. I would not want to be going up that climb with that group. To be honest, I'd rather kiss a Wookiee.
Well, I tell you something, Category 2, absolutely.
There's too many of them.
I mean, honestly.
Look at the size of that race field. It's huge. It's ugly. It's massive.
It's ugly.
It is. It's not aesthetically pleasing when there's that many riders.
Beauty. The pack, the rolling, the movement through, the transitions, the changes.
No. You want 4 or 5 people so can get to the finish, and everybody else is out. Then you got 1 in 4 or 5 chance of getting into the taking the win. If you're in the top 10, you take 10 riders. You're going to get a prize. Sorry, I feel quite strongly about this.
Obviously.
That's what I do.
Well, moving on.
Yeah.
Well, the riders keep trying to attack off the front of the Category 2 pack in with Ika Morelli at the moment, and he's sat right on the back of Skierski and Graves. Santo and Theme Milostic is in there as well. The pack is long and spread, and there he is. We drop in with Ika Morel, and he pushes on. He's just been out the saddle. He's just sat back down. He's trying to stay with the group because while they're at the top of the climb, they're on the flat. They're about to drop in the descent, and they need to pick up the pace. They need to stay with the group because the attack is on the front, attacking on the downhill. A classic tactic on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Cup, attack where it is not expected.
Always the best place to go. Always the best to go. No, you might as well use the element of surprise. It is a key thing. If you've read Sun Tzu, you'll know that the art of war, surprise is one of the most important elements of any attack.
Well, this is bike racing, and Colin Cairn, Ivan Newkey, Christoph Thiem, all in that group, paying close attention, but not on the front of the pack. The only place you need to be on the front of the pack is when you cross the finish line. And I can tell you, taking a look at the Eichenberg climb segment at the moment, the Category 4 pack are now through there as well. Nicholas Trujillo setting the fastest time with Nick Scolari for company, Dorvin Ellos as well, Ryan Giuliano and Dylan Kennett, the top 5 going through there. 19 riders, it looks like, in that leading pack in Category 4 at the moment. They're on the long transition towards the Quermont climb. Back with Category 1 and Category 2, they are a long way back from Category 5 and 6.
They are indeed, but I tell you something, Category 1 just starting to come back into life. 33 seconds the gap from the race leaders, the leading duo of Jones and Osborne, who have that gap to the chasing group. The chase coming. Interesting to see who was starting to put the pressure on. They've been really covering those moves off. Vujasin now in the front group here with Safazadi, Wu, Panitsa and co. But it's picking up a little as they come up towards the top. Nobody wants to get distanced out of the back of the group. They are very, very close together. They're, in fact, pretty much all over each other. And got to say, very interesting riding. The fact nobody wants to take this on and chase, but everybody wants to be near the front in case a gap goes. Nobody wants to get distance. And for me, one of the key reminders, I've done a lot of riding this week, and one of the key reminders for me was how important it is not to let the wheel go. And it's so important on here. Lionel Vujasin, you watch him on here. He doesn't let gaps go.
Well, I'll tell you
He's
something.
so good at sitting on a wheel and making sure he marks those moves, keep the pace.
Marking the move is what's needed because Van Elst just put in a massive dig there. Just saw 9 watts per kilo from Van Elst on the flat at the top. He doesn't want the gap to get too big, and he desperately wants to, well, if he's racing for third, he wants that third spot, but I don't think he's given up yet of racing. But Osborne and Jones done a phenomenal job to go clear of this pack.
Now, if you were Ollie Jones, would you come through to the front of this group?
Well, yes, because take a look at that. They're 29 seconds back at the moment. Kroll, Wu, Pucker, Safrazadi, they are not, I think, clear yet.
For me, this is about Jones doing enough to ensure he stays in what is a guaranteed top 2 position to keep this group clear, but making sure he does less than Osborne. Because if he wants any chance of beating Osborne, because we know how phenomenal Jason Osborne is, you know, that you don't. Not only did he take the World Championship jersey once again, and he's taken that back, he has proved that the rainbow jersey is no curse. He's taking win after win in it. He's shown he's absolutely on fire. My personal view here is that you need to wear out Osborne by making him do more work. And there is the onus on him to do that as the...
Yeah, he's the world champion.
He's the world champion. He's the rider on form. He's the rider to beat at the moment. But Jones needs to make sure that he does enough to keep the group.
But I also think, you know, they're at 21.9, 22 kilometres into a 45-kilometre race. If you're not showing that you are happy to work together and you're not happy to help at the 22-kilometre mark, it's a long...
You're inviting almost him to attack you, aren't you?
Well, you are. And, you know, at the moment, each of those riders will see the most benefit by working together.
I mean, I would be... if I had a message,
not the time to scrap.
No, if I was Ollie Jones and had a direct line to Jason Osborne, I would be trying to make an agreement that we work together to the base of the Paterberger. Then the gloves come off.
That's the point in the race where you need to win it. At this point, and until that point, they need to work together to keep that gap going. And that's what Jones and Osborne are doing. Each of the riders coming through, taking their turn on the front, keeping the pace high. The rider behind gets some rest and recovery and then comes to the fore again. And
it's a very different race because of that in Category 1 to pretty much any other race category that we've got on our screens, which is 2, 3, and 4 at the moment, isn't it? I mean, the green jerseys at the moment, between the green jerseys and the verdant, lush, Belgian vegetation, it's just all green on the top right-hand side of our screen on Category 2, and it's huge group there. It is a little difference at the moment in Categories 3 and 4, but it's still, the Category 1 is a very different beast at the minute.
It is indeed. And, that's all part and parcel and all down to Jason Osborne putting that attack in. Ollie Jones going with him. That current gap is 36 seconds. Andreasen, Van Elst, Kroll and Pucker. Jones and Osborne. Well, never tell me about the odds, but the odds have got to be in their favour.
Yes, you would hope so. Now, I'm just going to do a quick jump across because we did say that there was good odds that Vidal Mayer would come through after
the sprint.
we saw that sprint by Mikhail Kaminsky. Kaminsky came through with what is now the 17th fastest time, but he was leading in Category 1. Vidal Mayer has come through and has taken top spot. He didn't mess about.
Top spot overall.
Top spot overall. He
yes.
absolutely nailed it through the Thyssenhoven-Molen sprint. So to give you an indication, Mikhail Kaminsky put out 516 watts, 7.5 watts per kilo to take the sprint initially. More than double the watts per kilo. And when you do the maths, it is well and truly more than double the amount of watts coming out from Vidal Mayer. 1,115 watts for his sprint. That's 300 meters covered with an average power of 1,115 watts. He didn't mess about. He nailed it, and he's secured what is now 2 wins in that sprint competition, which means he's going to take the overall as well. So good riding by Mayer, despite not being in the lead group contesting the race finish.
Well, there's only 2 riders in the lead group contesting the race finish at the moment in Category 1, and they're on the left-hand side of your screen, Osborne and Jones. On the right-hand side of your screen, it's a huge pack of Category 2 riders, all contesting this race at the moment. They're at the 25.8 kilometre marker, and look at them. There's hundreds.
It's maybe not hundreds, but I'll tell you something, there's going to be another one in a minute. If just saw Andrew Downey glued to the wheel of Osborne and Jones there, they're less than a K behind. They are coming at speed, and they are motoring their way up towards this group. And because Downey's there, he's now able to jump on board. The pace that they're climbing and descending at, he's going to be getting draft advantage sitting on their wheels. There's no onus on him to take the lead and to help the Category 1 riders. He's got effectively a relatively free ride to get back into this group if he can stay with them. So it'll be interesting to see whether Andrew Downey can come back. We know he's been on good form recently, but interesting to see off the back of this group. Now, as this group descends at 26.5 kilometers on the way down, we've got the Eichenberg climb to come. It's a very quick transition from the Eichenberg hill, which is where they're descending from, to the Eichenberg climb, and it is a polka dot point scoring opportunity.
It is.
Nearly didn't manage to say that in one whole coherent sentence, but as they go in and along here, they know that coming up around this right-hand bend and just coming into sight comes that polka dot banner that indicates this is the second of our climb segments. The climb 1.6k long, average gradient 4.3% overall. It may be a measly 56 meters of ascent, but it won't feel measly in the legs. That is for certain.
Definitely not. Well, the pack are attacking the climb already. And you can see the stretch on the group. So Thiem, Gomberg, Krasnich, Skierski, Graves, Damsgaard still in the mix. So is Van Hee. Van Hee right at the front of the pack at the moment. Kisnowski is there. So is Krasnich and Nico. Bengston in the mix as well. Anders Bengston. Do you know he does go well on this course, but the pack are rolling strong. He's Simon Walter in the polka dot skin suit, currently leading that climbing competition. This is one of the climbs that count in that competition. He's going to be wanting to guard that skin suit well.
I took a breath like I was going to say something, but actually I wasn't. I was drawing breath because I'm kind of a little nervous watching this. I'm waiting for a move. We've seen Mistakes 100 on the front, on the descent of Freewill, and I think he's on the front here just starting to step the pace. So there's a number of riders here who I think want to make this hard all the way through. Now, in with the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club coach, Ivan Nuki, the one and only legend is Ivan Nuki. Plenty of fans in the background there. I hope he's got one on him as well. Certainly looking warm today.
Yeah, you don't want your fan in the box.
No, you kind of like take him out of the box, put like all 5 in front of you to get you cooled to a good temperature. Great to see Ivan in here, and I'm sure at the end of this he will smile at some point because he's always a very smiling, happy person. But my goodness, I think the pace is on. The hurt is going down. down. And Giselle Betty at the moment really tapping out a very strong pace here on the front of the group. Krasnich, Graves, Howeiler, SS in here, Van Hees in here, Walters in here, Alan Jung, Stepanek. Oh, the going gets tough, the tough gets going, the cream comes to the top. Whatever kind of commentary cliche you want to apply, they all apply here because, my goodness, this is where it is selling. We're going to push over the top here. And you're going to go over the top of the Eichenberg climb. The points will be allocated. Will it be Walter who is able to make the most of this? It was Walter from Stepanek, from SS, from Van He, from Kane, as they went over the top of the first of those allocated points climbs, which was the Quarter Kia. But at the moment, well, it's a man who's not scored any points so far. Graves at the moment pushing on here.
Yeah, he is indeed. And I did notice now Beatty in the mix as well. They caught him. This pack caught Beatty at the bottom of the climb, and we know what a phenomenal climber in category 3 Niall Beatty is, and he's joined this group and he's climbing strongly with them. Phil Graves has pushed on. SS now trying to close him down. Simon Walter desperately trying to look at that 9 watts per kilo from Walter. He wants to hold that polka dot skin suit. Is he going to be able to? Because the attack is coming from SS
close,
at the moment. This is going to be really close on the Eichenberg climb. Who is going to take that skin suit? Oh, it's been jumping around on their shoulders. I can tell you, SS takes the fastest time, but Walter retains the jersey.
They're tied on points. By my calculations, they are absolutely tied on 8 points each, because Walter took the first one with 5 points, and SS got third place with 3, and I got that as Walter taking third place, getting 3 points that time round. And did he get second? Did he beat Graves just over the top?
Graves on the top.
Oh my goodness, he needed to, because they would have been tied. Graves was the person taking those points from Walter. That was not good news for Walter.
I'll tell you something.
He's had to respond there. Well, good riding by Walter, but still one climb to go.
There is one climb to go, and the call has gone in that category 2 pack to start working and to try and start breaking that group. But breaking the group, Osborne and Jones have done in category 1. The gap now 50 seconds. This has got to be it. There cannot be a catch. These two riders out front in category 1. They're at the 28.5 kilometre marker. They are on the Eichenberg climb. They're continuing to push and continuing to work. But further behind is indeed the pack on the right-hand side of your screen. And you can see that they're 400 metres down the road. For Yasin, Van Elst, Wu, Harris, Panizza, Safrazadi are all in that group chasing. Big group of category 1 riders on the march, chasing hard. But the 2 riders, Jones and Osborne, are well and truly away.
7.5 watts per kilo coming from Vujassin on that climb. And Jones and Osborne here can afford not to go too deep. They don't need to maximise this climb. Because of the gap that they've got now is so substantial, they can just ride underneath that limit, underneath threshold, underneath their limit. They can come up over the top here. They're not going to worry about those points in terms of the climb's competition. And then they can start to wind over the top of the climb and really start to come push and keep that pace hard all the way through. Good time trial effort now. And it's going to see them clear, because next climb they're going to see is going to be the Quemont.
Oh, and they could well catch the category 2 pack at that point.
Oh, you see,
there's a prediction for you.
It is, and you want to catch them on the flat where they're going to give you some draft advantage, but you're not going to get draft on that climb of the Quemont, surely.
So we've just been talking about the fact that they didn't need to push as hard on the climb. I can tell you that Ollie Jones's time and Jason Osborne's time currently beaten by SS and Simon Walter. I can tell you whose time is at the top, and that's Michael Knudsen. Knudsen, Safrazadi, Kaminsky, Wu, Van Elst, Panizza, Vujasin, Harris, Milostic, Kroll, Plantero, Turek, Pucker and Vink, the 14 riders in that chasing group, all going up the climb faster than Osborne and Jones.
And we've just seen a little bit of a changeover in terms of the jersey. Now, Michael Knudsen was second on the very first climb in that climb competition, the Kortekir climb. He was second to Kaminsky. This time around, it's Knudsen from Safrazodi from Kaminsky in terms of Category 1 riders. I've got all of the results on MyWhoosh.com under results. However, it does mean, again, it's down. It's single digits. We are talking 1 or 2 points separating the leaders from second place. It will come down to what the riders do on the last climb. That is the Quermont climb. Now, some of the riders already passed the Quermont climb, and they include Category 5 leaders and Category 6 leaders, because both those sets of riders are basically down and in to the flat section leading to the Paterberg. It's the Paterberg climb. And then we've got the flat section, then we've got the sprint round the corner and up into the castle, into the citadel itself to finish. Now, the Paterberg climb, Emma, it's regularly decisive in terms of if somebody wants to take this by climbing clear, the Paterberg is the place to do it.
It is, but you've really got to go clear. The Paterberg, 400 metres in length only, with an average gradient of 11.7%. You can go clear on this and you can hold it to the finish, but it has got to be a decisive gap because there is further climbing into the finish line. And we have seen riders lose a lead on that run to the finish in Belgium. They need to pay really close attention to their tactics.
And anybody who's got a polka dot skin suit here, because they've won the mountains competition, the climb competition, they almost have a I'm going to go on the climb flag flying above their head.
They do. Well, they're marked, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. Now, we've got 2 leaders clear in Category 1. We're just dropping back in to Category 2. Peter Blostic and Ivan Nuki here, being chased down by Phil Graves at 9 watts per kilo, trying to bridge across to the 2 riders in front. The 2 riders in front, though, don't look to be going that hard to say that they are cleared. I think they want more bodies. They're waiting to get some reinforcements up there. It's a 4-second gap. It was a little lackluster there. They needed a little bit more oomph. I mean, it's very easy for us to say because, I'm not the rider sat down there with my legs screaming, my lungs burning and thinking, I'm on the limit just getting this far. We're never going to make it.
Well, it's an interesting group because it's Middlestick, Nuki, Graves and X100. It's a 4-rider group. And if those 4 riders work together, they'd be strong. But we've got riders now coming from behind. X100 SS have not made the group. They are now going to drive on the front of this group. The large pack of riders. I tell you, it's a big pack. Krasnich is in there. He's marking the front of the group. He doesn't want to get his nose into the wind. But Middlestick, Nuki and Graves, the riders, it's a small gap. 4 seconds. You can't measure it on the screen, Matt, with your fingers.
I was trying.
I know, it's a very strange thing to witness in the studio.
But it's not changing though. It's just sort of sat there, and it's like, Graves is now committing to this. He's bridged across. He's committed to come across the gap. He's trying to make his way in and across. Now, we're just going to drop back into the front of the race at the end of the race because
look at that.
We have Category 5 and Category 6 leaders together. This has not broken apart. It has not been decisive. Dotto, Sabrino are in here along with Riley Milostic in Category 6. In Category 5, Mohamed Mokhtari is in here. Thomas Dvorak is in here. Zemiel is in here. And Arias. And time is running out. 43.5k covered now. 6 into the last kilometre and a half. Mokhtari takes a drink. He cools himself down. This is going to be brutal. Who is going to blink first? This is a game of nerves as much as it is a game of sprinting into the finish.
Well, at my count, there are 6 Category 5 riders and 5 Category 6 riders in that leading group, but it is not far for the chasers behind in Category 5. And I think that group are closing them down as they head towards the gate of the city. The gates of the city are indeed in front of them. The final climb is coming. Who is going to kick? Occasionally, we see somebody win and kick hard on this move and take the win. Others come later with a faster sprint behind and close it down The pack of Category 5 riders is swelling. Mark Dadson goes to the front. He's been in the mix before in Belgium. He knows what he's doing. Can he get his timing right today?
So Dadson starting to wind up on the left-hand side of your screen, starting to come into that right-hand turn. Quick view across of our Category 4 riders on the climb at the moment. They're making the way up the Paterberg, heading into this section. Right-hand turn, the gradient increases. You can see top right-hand side of your screen, 5% and climbing at the moment. Now over 6%, heading for 7. And this is where the push is starting to come. Llewellyn, Dotto, Sabrino, they are the Category 6 leaders. They're on the front of the race. They're opening up. But the Category 5 riders mob them. They go over the top here. And this is where the run for the line really does come in. This is going to be what is effectively a bunch sprint with 2 categories going for it into the finish. It's very rare. I can't think of a time that we've had such a frantic race for the finish. We see often sprints, but together at this stage, at 44.7, 250 meters to go. Sabrino now up to 7 watts per kilo. He kicks on first. He's going to be leading this out. He's leading the Category 6 race. It looks like he's got enough of a gap. Over the top comes Patrick Mortek. It's going to be Mortek, surely, who's going to lead all of the race through. Patrick Mortek comes through. He takes away victory in the race. In May's qualifier, race number 1, Category 5 winner, Patrick Mortek. He takes the win in Category 5, and in Category 6, Francisco Sabrino takes away the win in Category 6, the leader in and across the line.
Wow, it is indeed fast and furious. And the Category 4 riders have got 1K to go. But Mortek from Villada, from Dvorak, from Pukaloka, from Gavaria in Category 5. And in Category 6, well, it was indeed the riders, but you call this one first, Matt, and we'll go back to Category 6.
Yeah, it's just starting to really hot up here because Nick Squillari has just gone over the top here of Nicholas Spratt. Both riders know each other really well here. Now Squillari versus Spratt. They're coming round the right-hand turn here. They are side by side. They've got enough of a gap. They don't need to worry, I don't think, of anybody else behind. The rest of the riders in Categories 5 and 6 making the way into the line, but it is at the moment Spratt who is leading Squillari up the climb. He's not broken him, and Squillari comes on the right-hand side. The helmet belongs to Squillari. The bandana, the white bandana, the rider on the left-hand side in the red jersey, is Nicholas Spratt. So it's Spratt versus Squillari. Spratt still leading up here. Squillari in a second place. They are almost side by side. They can't break him. He's half-wheeled him. He's now starting to get a gap. And Spratt opens up some more. He's got a little bit extra. Has he gone too early? You can see Squillari bouncing around the 6 watts per kilo. Now goes to 9 watts per kilo. He's put a sprint up here. So despite being distance on the climb, he's kicked on hard here. Squillari has gone. He's on the main screen. He's there in a human form on the left-hand side. He's got to rev it into the line. He's broken Nicholas Spratt. Nick Squillari in Category 4 ties it to perfection, takes away the win from Nicholas Spratt, who takes second place in Category 4. What a ride, a perfect timing, great sprint, sits in, waits to kick, and kicks at the right time.
Oh, timing was everything there.
Shall we jump back in with
Nick Squillari from
the rest of the
Nicholas
categories?
Can I just say we've just had 3rd and 4th over the line in the Category 4 race. Dylan Kennett takes 3rd place. Matteo Pino takes 4th. Dorvan Elos takes 5. And Ryan Giuliano takes 6th in Category 4. Back in with Category 6, well, it was Sabrino who took the win from Dotto and Llewellyn. Riley Milostic came through, and then David Winfield rounding that out.
Fantastic results as we see our Category 3 leaders. Another group coming in over the top of the climb here, over the top of the Paterberg. We're in with Nathan Guerra at the moment. Another man with the pressure on him to perform today. Can he make it count? Does it come into the finishes in amongst some very big kickers here? Walter Clays is in here, and that is a man with a big sprint. Matthews Kalman in as well. Stan van Velligem cannot be discounted on home turf here. Didutch is in, Gase is in. This is going to be a who's who. Kochikov as well. Montoya up on the front here, looking to keep the pace high all the way through. He's going to take away the climber's jersey. He's going to take away the overall win in that climb competition. Can he add the overall? He's got a little bit of a gap here. Mark Gates behind. He's not picking up the pace. It's at 1 second, 20 meters or so. The difference between our leading rider, Christian Montoya, has done the climber's move on the way into the finish. He's pushed on and he's going to take this into the climbing section. The question is, if he opens up enough gap, has he caught them napping enough for them not to pull him back on that final sprint in?
Well, 13, 14 riders I count currently in category 3 going into the last 900 meters now. They've got one climb and then the finish sprint. Is this Montoya's? It's a really interesting move. Now, my question is have they not noticed he's away because he's in the polka dot skin suit? Are they looking for a blue jersey? And is it all
so
in the
much
group?
experience back there, though. Surely they must have noticed. They know he's there. You can see it on the right-hand side of your screen, but he's now going to be clear on the screens. They're going to have enough riders in between that they maybe haven't twigged he's gone. They should have done. If they haven't, that is a monumental tactical error. But remember, this is a climber. He's on 7 seconds behind. The chase is coming. 7 seconds the gap, but here comes the chase behind. We're in with Pierre Fell, but in front of Fell, you can see these riders really kicking on. Clay's at the bottom, Fell in the middle, Kalman at the top of the screen here. They've got to keep on pushing because at the moment, Christian Montoya has got a slight gap, but he is being closed down, and Kochikev looks like he's gone over the top. So Kochikev at the moment, I think, leading this out. Clays is right up there at the very, very front of this race. It's going to come down to who's got the sprint. Gates comes over the top of Kochikev, and Mark Gates now looking to push this home. We've seen Squirlari come in front of Spratt, but now Will Clays go over the top of Gates. Will Gates be deprived of taking the win? It comes down to the sprint for the line, the push and the lunge. The result is that is going to go to Mark Gates. He comes over the line 0.032 of a second ahead of Walter Clays, who takes second place and the sprint competition.
He does indeed. And let's just round out the rest of that pack coming in. Kochkov takes third. Haggerty takes fourth. Fell takes fifth. Diedutch, Guerra, Tidholm, Van Veligen, Kalman, Montoya, Kansara, the top 12 riders covered by 8 seconds.
Just a phenomenal group in there, kicking their way in and through to that finishing line. Fastest time of the day so far, that time by Mark Gates, 1 hour and 8 minutes. 10 seconds of racing. The category 3, 4, 5, and 6 race winners in. If you're in those categories still racing, don't forget all of that racing, all those kilometers in the legs, are all going to help you become that better, faster rider to be in with a chance of battling it out in the future. So do keep pedaling, guys. All of our races get ranked once they come in and over the line. So make sure you keep on pedaling in to that finish. And of course, 2 qualifying rides are needed to count to be able to progress to the finals at the end of the month. Let's jump back in with the 2 categories that haven't finished their racing yet in terms of the race leaders and winners. We're in with the leaders in category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen, and the leaders in category 1 on the left-hand side of your screen. Osborne and Jones in category 1, clear-cut leaders on the left-hand side of your screen. They've broken clear. They've gone clear. The riders behind realistically battling, I think, here for 3rd places down. That gap has shown no signs of diminishing. In category 2, well, that big leading pack are clear. The chasers behind trying to close the gap down. Skierski and Co. They're in the tunnels. They can see the group in front, but that's a big ask if you've been distanced at this point. Skierski, Nuki, and Mundell going to struggle, I think, to get up to the leaders. In category 2, we're in with SS on the left of your screen, a man for whom this Paterberg is going to go right in to his straights. A aggressive sprint, a slight leveling, and then another sprint into the finish. Can he take victory? Would you bet against Damian Kisnowski on this course? Simon Walter has shown his sprinting and his climbing is
top notch here today. And of course, he's also got to defend that polka dot skin suit because that is not secure on his shoulders yet. As we come in, sorry, it is secure on his shoulders,
It
but
is.
I was thinking we still have the pattern bird to count.
No.
No, they're all sealed and done. So at least he can now focus. I'm going to
On
rephrase
winning
this,
the
on winning the race, and maybe adding that. But climbing up here, Walter can sprint. He's not just a climber.
Use the force, Simon. The force is with you.
I'm looking forward to next week. So as we make our way into was the finale. The riders on the move. The chasers trying to close the gap down. They're going to come past rider after rider, but the chasers, I think, their day is done in terms of position. Too many riders in this front group for them to be able to challenge for the prizes. Now, in with Simon Walter, he's the man with the polka dot skin suit at the moment, just hovering around the front of this group. Forces Alan Young, Milostic, Nico, Krasnich in here. Graves couldn't be relied on to push his way up. Strong rider and to maybe go on the attack immediately after. The pace picks up. The riders lift out of the saddle. They come around the right and they go into the left, and then they're going to see that ramping up in front of them out into the daylight. They know that they've got to get around another left-hand turn before they get to the polka dot banner. Who can stay with the leading group? Keep in contention. Now is the time you have to push. You lose the wheel now. There's not much chance of getting it back before you come into the finish. And if you get dropped now, it's because your legs cannot match it. You're writing checks that you just cannot cash. And at the moment, it looks to me like this lead group are not fracturing much. There's one or two riders at the back, but my goodness, it's hurting Nico, Walter, Betty, and Forster. All the riders pushing on. Interestingly, though, Nico has only just lifted out of the saddle there. He did most of that climb seated. Will that be to his advantage as they push on here? Has he got something left in those big, powerful muscles for the sprint? We will see. This is the lead group. This is that flat run across. The riders go over the top of the pattern boat, but that is a huge group.
It is indeed, and never discount the Kane brothers because they are both in the mix and they've both got a phenomenally strong sprint. Ospina, Allingsham, Bengston, Fawcett, Nitko, Bjarhead, all in the mix. Van He is there as well. Koistinen,
my bet for this one.
It is a phenomenal group, and this pack rolling. It's like they are playing cat and mouse with each other at the moment. Who can drop their heart rate so they've got the range to go again? SS monitoring the front of the group. Betty Theme. They are lining up across the road. Category 2 fireworks with 1,000 meters to go.
One big group. 10 prizes at stake, more riders than there are prizes at the moment. And this is going to be telling. Now, will it be Van He? The kicker's gone from Milostic. He's usually a breakaway rider, but he's not been able to do that this time around. Milostic leads this out. Corrales jumps on his wheel, as does Betty. SS Nico. At the moment, he's being stripped out here by Milostic and Corrales. Nico now comes across gap. Trzynski comes over, and Peter Trzynski, he has got the power not only to close, but to go to the front, but he's got to save another kick. Milostic has still got plenty, I think, to kick again. Forza is there as well. Kankayan moving up through the mix as well. This is not breaking. There is not enough riders distance. Still more riders than there are prizes. And that really is going to put the pressure on. Daniel Mundell leads them in to sight of the finishing gantry. I think it's Tatu Koistonen comes over the top. Now Tatu Koistonen, the Finnish rider, comes round that left-hand turn in the lead. He's at 9 watts per kilo. There's a response from Forza at 9.3. SS comes at 10.7. He's now at 13. He's trying to push on with the blue bandana on the right-hand side here. Forza is in the mix with Koistonen. It's going to be a blanket finish at the line. They go over the line. It's SS who I think is going to take the win there today. What a ride by SS. Well, It's not often I call the winner early on in the race, but SS put in the power. He put in the pace. He had the kick at the finish, that repeated effort coming to the good. As a little bit further back, there we go. They said he had to go before the Claremont. Emma might be rolling her eyes at the fact that I'd actually managed to make another couple of predictions. But you know what? This is Jones, who is clear of Osborne by 5 seconds.
Well, the 20 up sprint in category 2. This is a one-man ride in category 1. He's riding away from the world champion, Jason Osborne. That is the finish line, and it's Ollie Jones on the way.
Ollie Jones makes his way in. This is a fantastic run. He's going to go through to take away a victory here today. That is his 17th victory in the Sunday Race Club. Ollie Jones does the business. He's buried himself in the run to the line. He comes through clear of Jason Osborne, the world champion, scaled by Jones today. Second place today, but well, he made it to the finish line without grabbing a puncture. What a duo. What a pair of breakaway Supremos. A fantastic riding by the pair of them to hold off a class bunch behind. So Jones in 1, Osborne in 2. Now who's going to take third place? Kaminski sprinting his way up here onto Safrazedy's wheel. Safrazedy currently in third place. He went for the long one. Kaminski comes, but he's bringing Panitsa, Vujacin, as well as Van Elst into the mix here. Safrazedy out of the saddle, puts in a huge effort, but he can't hold off the pack who come over the top here. It's Vujacin who's leading this out at the moment. Will he be able to hold it to the line? He kicks at 10.5 watts a kilo. Wu is coming at nearly 12. Safrazedy's got 14 watts coming down as he comes in towards the line. But look at that, Vujacin, I think he just takes it from Safrazedy, Wu, Kaminski, Panitsa and Van Elst. These riders are so closely matched. What a race to the finish. Wow, that is what you call a series finale, and we're only in qualifier race number 1.
We are indeed. I'm going to run you through that. So category 1, Ollie Jones takes the win, 1 hour, 1 minute, 36 seconds from Jason Osborne, the world champion. Hold on. Lionel Vujacin takes third place. Syed Safrazedy takes 4th. Marshall Wu takes 5th. Kaminski takes 6th. Panitsa takes 7th, Van Elst 8th, Harris 9th, Knudsen 10th. Linda Millerstick comes through in 11th place in category 1. In category 2, we saw SS take the win from a fast finishing Carlos Ospina, Tatu Koinstonen, Ross Fawcett, Simon Walter, Khan Kane in there as well. That was a 20 up sprint in category 2. Phenomenal racing. Absolutely brilliant today.
I tell you something, they were looking for a long time to pull back the leaders, but the power of Jones and Osborne kept them clear. Sunday Race Club qualifier race number 1 is done and dusted in our women's and in our men's races. Now, don't forget all our qualifiers coming up on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. You can subscribe by hitting that button on YouTube and, of course, on Twitch TV. Don't forget that you can follow myself. It's at Matt Fix of Pain, and you can follow Emma at biking_Emma. Make sure you follow at MyWhoosh for all of the updates for the launch that is coming up as well on the 12th. On the 12th of May, so make sure you watch that. If you are following people, don't forget to give the UAE women's team a follow, because they're starting on the Vuelta team time trial today. It's at UAE team_ADQ. And don't forget, of course, the Giro kicks off on the 9th of May as well. Lots of great racing, lots of great MyWhoosh powered riders out there and racing. We are going to be back next week with qualifier number 2. I look forward to seeing you for that. Thank you very much for watching, for our riders, for keeping us on our toes all the way into our race finishes, and of course for the amazing team behind the scenes who make it all happen. But from Emma and myself and Matt Payne, stay safe. We'll see you again next week, and remember, the force will be with you.